WestJet lately in the little snack box they give you. A little chocolate in there. It's called Awake. Have you seen this Awake chocolate? And it comes with caffeine in it. So I've been taking those and pretending it's like a real kick. Yeah. I was just like, oh, here we go.
Under the tongue and away we go.
Yeah, I turn around to the rest of the plane. I say, it's about to go down. And I open up and I eat this Awake chocolate. Hey, Dusty, yelling it's about to go down on a plane is probably not a good thing. That's a good point.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings at 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell take you on a hot lap around the NHL with Hello Hockey, Saturday mornings at 10, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Join Murray McCourt and Curtis Stock for tips and tales from courses around Edmonton and area with the VIP Golf Show, presented by the Tailor Made Performance Center at the Ranch, Sundays at 8:30, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Catch up with friends of EST, Andrew, Mike, and Kayla, as they get you in the huddle with the Edmonton Elks on the Turf District. Thursday nights at 8, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Friend of EST, Eric Thomas, takes you around the track all the way to the checkered flag on Raceline Radio. Tuesday nights at 8 and Saturday morning at 9, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Nielsen Show.
Enough about me, though. What's up with you guys?
Well, Frace, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Well, Eric's married now.
I know.
I have to wear a ring now.
Yeah, listen, obviously the invite got lost in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal. It happens.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
listen.
You can't trust Canada Post
I had
these days.
something going on.
He's fasting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric, I can't make it to your wedding. I'm not eating right now.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings at 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell take you on a hot lap around the NHL with Hello Hockey, Saturday mornings at 10, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Catch up with.
It's the Hangout.
Yeah,
we can do this however we want. This is the EST Hangout on Friday, September 22nd. The wireless mouse isn't working, so I'm going to have to get that fixed so we can get this, so I could run things as I'm supposed to, but no one cares about that. Matt Awanek with you here on this Friday. YouTube Trev with us as well. And our guest today, Gerry Haracsi from the Spirit of Edmonton. Gerry, how you doing on this game day Friday?
Excellent. I'm pumped, ready to go. We're it's going to be a long shift, 7:30 or 7:40 kickoff tonight. We'll be setting up tailgate about 4:00. And yeah, we've got the first batch of sluice juice sitting right here with us today.
You have some.
You haven't had any ever.
I've never had this, so I'm gonna let me get in there right away to give this a try. But it's the legendary drink of the Spirit of Edmonton. Everyone's
I
basically
had to bring it
tried
today too. Yeah, you know,
We love that you brought this.
And
And
it's-
jump in there,
This
Trev.
one's mine. This one's mine.
that's yours. Yeah.
Go for it.
Let's go.
You know, what's
Yeah,
funny
get
is
in there.
I put this thermos in the car and I thought, I don't want it to spill all over the place, you know. So I strap it into the seatbelt. And I'm like, it's still not going to work. So I'm holding it like it's a baby in the front seat. Yeah, all the way from the office here, thinking, I can't spill that, you know. So nice. A couple of good pumps, and like I say, it's the secret recipe that I didn't follow this morning. So I don't know.
So-
We'll.
You didn't follow it?
Yeah, I know it's in there.
You know, well,
The goods are in there.
Quantity good.
so I think Dusty's going to
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
in. So we'll wait for the cheers for him. So,
Yeah.
so like,
Sure.
what is, so for those that don't know, like, this is a legendary drink.
It is. It's
What
been,
is sluice juice? though? Like, not what's in it, but
No, it's a vodka orange juice based drink with a few other little secret ingredients in it. We've been making this for 49 years actually. Is the history of the Spirit of Edmonton. We've been making it for about 49 years, and we have a 500-liter tank that we ship all over Canada. And 500 liters will do. I think it's about. I can't remember what the number is, but we have to do about 4 tanks per breakfast when we're mixing sluice juice.
how
So-
long does it take to mix it and like get it going? And
Well,
and
we're
in Great Cup week.
normally liquor license starts at 9 o'clock
Yeah.
at Great Cup, unless we can get an 8 o'clock liquor license, which we have to apply for. But normally it's 9 o'clock. So we'll do an honorary sluice pour at 9 o'clock. We start mixing at about 6 in the morning to make sure we got it, because you've got, 4 liters of orange juice. Everyone's got to be open. You've got 2 liters of the product, the secret products.
Were you almost going to say, be careful, buddy.
And
I haven't drank yet.
Yeah.
then all the vodka supplied by our friends at Righand over here in Nisku. That every one of those bottles, you got to open by hand, and the thing's sitting about 6 feet high, so most of us have to be on a step stool to, so we're getting soaked in orange juice and the product and the vodka, and we have special sluice crew shirts that we give to the. It takes about 10 people in just a line of people doing it. It's amazing.
How
to
hard
see.
is it to mix?
Do you use your arms? You roll up a sleeve?
No,
and go like this?
we actually have an oar. You'll paddle. Yeah.
That sounds pretty big. I
Yeah,
guess.
you have to. Yeah. And then you throw in the ice, and it's got like the big valve on it with a garden hose, and you just pour it into pitchers, and it's just like a conveyor belt almost, just going right onto the trays, and the servers are out and serving it. It's crazy to see.
Well, let's give this a try.
Yeah.
All right.
Social.
Sociable.
Let's go.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Let's give this a try.
Oh yeah.
I can see how that's going to hurt people. Like
On the
that,
beach. Oh, that's good.
That's,
that is too easy. That goes down way too easy.
In Edmonton in 2018, when we did Grey Cup, we had 2 breakfasts. And my wife has never been to a Grey Cup before, because it's never in Edmonton. Once every 10 years. And so she brings a bunch of her friends. And first of all, they're all dressed to the nines, looking beautiful, but it's a spirit breakfast. Just wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so I bring them the first 2 jugs of sluice juice, and she just kind of looks at me, and I said, just be careful with this, honey. Just be careful, because the next time you stand up, the room's not going to be the same.
It's so delicious, though.
Yeah.
When you
It's lethal.
think when you take a look at it, you're going to get into it, you're thinking there's going to be like some of that going to be carbonated, like there's going to be some fizz there, but it's just so smooth.
It's smooth. It is. It's funny. I remember, Dusty, one of the very first times we were on at the old place I was on with you, and you asked me if I keep sluice juice at home. And I said, honestly, I can't drink orange juice. And I drink it.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Have it here. I usually do a taster at a football game just to make sure we've got the mix right.
Oh, tough
But,
gig, eh?
Like,
I guess I'll do it.
yeah. But in the morning, if I go out for breakfast or have breakfast at home and somebody has an orange juice, it just there's no, no, I can't do it. And it's never been a bad experience. It's just like from on Grey Cup Saturday breakfast is 6 hours of sluice juice in my hand and sociables and toasting people and drinking. And
Do you guys always like? In Edmonton, you did a couple of breakfasts, right?
Yeah.
So is it always just the one on the road, or have you guys started doing 2 on the road?
We did 2 in Vancouver in 2014. It's really hard on us. Like we work till
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the shift is hard because we work till usually 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we shut down the room at 1 o'clock. Then we reset the room for the next day. And then if you have a breakfast, you got to be back up pouring or mixing sluice juice at 6 in the morning. So it's really tough on us to do back-to-back breakfast with 3 hours sleep each night. So we only do the one when we're on the road. It's like I say, the Friday night turnover to Saturday morning is there's sometimes like I laugh because my phone never gets 100% charged between Friday night and Saturday morning because I have a 2 hour sleep and then
There's not enough time for it to get enough juice.
get to 100%. So yeah.
I like this is good just on the YouTube chat here from Cam Tana. The secret ingredient is children's cough syrup. I like the idea of guessing what the secret ingredients are.
You know where that's
in
from?
this loose juice. No.
Oh, that's a Simpsons joke.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is it? No, yeah.
This is well, I'm assuming that's where they're coming from, but it's the Flaming Homer.
Flaming
Flaming Mo
Yeah.
was the secret ingredient was Krusty's children's cough syrup.
Because
That was
Flaming
the
Mo
secret
stole the Flaming Homer?
Yes. Yes.
See, so I know we always talk about Simpsons, and I've watched a lot of Simpsons, but I don't think I've watched every Simpsons episode. Right? Like I could quote a lot of things, but like that one I would have missed.
Okay, well, but here's the thing. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people that have seen all the Simpsons because, after a lot of people say 10 is when the good years ended. I could go to 15 or 16, and then after that, it's
What's
just
it at now?
33, 34, 35,
wow.
somewhere in that range.
Wow.
It actually did better in my mind the last few years than earlier.
They're bringing it back.
There's a lot of people, me included, Eric. There's Lucas, his brother. There's a group that they have that I should do more in called the Simpson Kings on Instagram, where we've seen probably every episode of seasons 2 through 10 multiple times.
Okay, yeah.
So a Flaming Moe's reference is very easy.
I used to love watching The Simpsons. I just haven't watched it, and I'll watch reruns and stuff. But my parents wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons growing up. Like I grew up on a farm. I wasn't allowed to listen to any music except country and Weird Al. And I couldn't. They took away Alanis Morissette mixtape. One of my buddies made me you can't listen to this, and they wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons. So the only time I could watch The Simpsons was when I went over to my buddy Visser's place, and he's like, "How come you can't watch The Simpsons?" I said, "I don't know why I can't watch The Simpsons." It was crazy.
So I've told this story to a couple people here, but I don't know if I've ever said it on air. My parents didn't let me watch The Simpsons either. They thought it was not good.
Yeah.
But I grew up when South Park first came out, and at the start, in the 99, 2000, Global used to run it 11:30 at night or something.
Yeah, that's how you could watch it. Yeah.
And I watched it, and my parents didn't care. They didn't because they didn't know what Simpsons was. So I was allowed to watch The Simpsons or South Park as a kid, but not The Simpsons. And I told them in the past, you got that all wrong.
Yeah.
It should have been completely reversed. You should have never let me watch South Park.
For sure.
Trev, you a Simpsons guy?
Yeah, I mean, I dabbled with The Simpsons a little bit growing up, but Family Guy for sure was.
Family Guy.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got out of the Family
If I
Guy
had to power rank Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, just for fun.
Yeah.
Family Guy would be number 1 for me.
Yes.
Simpsons would be number 2. South Park would be number 3. Mind you, I probably laughed the hardest at moments during South Park,
for sure.
but I think it would probably be number 3 behind Family Guy and Simpsons. If you want to rank them, it's up in the YouTube chat.
Or you can text us 780-218-9999. Do you want to know something? Family Guy would be last for me.
The heck?
There's Simpsons would probably be 1, South Park would be 2, and then it would be a conversation like Bob's Burgers and Futurama.
I haven't watched either of those.
Than Family Guy. Early American Dad, I didn't mind too. Maybe American Dad's behind Family Guy. But no, Bob's Burgers, I've really gotten to enjoy better. And Futurama's fantastic. It's so underrated. Have you ever gotten into any of those?
No, it's
shows?
funny.
You don't watch a lot of cartoons?
Well, my kids did,
Okay.
and I would being the dad. My
you have
kids
to check it, right?
I've got 3 kids, and the oldest are 30 and 29. Curtis, and I was the dad that just walked by and shake my head and go, "What the hell are they watching?"
Yeah.
But we just allowed it,
Yeah.
Just let them have fun, and So
This is a good one from Strummy in the YouTube chat. The secret ingredient is tobacco. It's a good Simpsons reference too, right?
I'm glad you got
Yeah, I got that one. I knew that one. I also wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. I was in a cult though. What's your excuse? That went in from that. Is that a Simpsons reference?
No,
The cult thing?
I don't know.
just might be the truth.
Yeah, I was going to say. Maybe he's in a cult where they weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Caster 1990 says, "Sorry guys, number 1 is King of the Hill. Just ask LTE. I know Eric loves King of the Hill.
Awesome.
Lucas loves it. Connor Halley loves King of the Hill. I never could get into King of the Hill.
Bobby Hill is amazing.
Yeah.
The kid, the boy, I love him. Absolutely love him.
So what's your guys' go-to shows there?
So 2 shows.
Like right now, Trev, what do you watch? What do you watch?
I'm pounding through Game of Thrones right now, but
I've never seen it.
Yeah, man.
I've never seen a big Game of Thrones either.
It's pretty sweet
I just watched Game of Thrones. So I watched Game of Thrones originally, religiously,
for sure.
and I rewatched it a few years back. Then I just finished rewatching it last week because I like to have it on. I think I talked about this somewhere, but I like to have it on while I'm doing some work, like some prep, like
Yeah.
whatever it is. I just like to have it on because I've seen it 4 times now, but I like the show.
Yeah.
So when I finished it this time, I just restarted it.
Yeah.
And now I'm on season 7 of episode 1 again. I did 3 episodes last night while I was prepping for the Elks Lions game. So yeah, Game of Thrones is
Game of Thrones is
I can't
sweet.
believe you never watched it, Matty.
Yeah, that's
Eh.
Wow.
never got into
It's
the
also one of those things when something gets really big, it's not gonna be something that I'm gonna get into if I haven't already been in it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm that
Yeah.
contrarian type person, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, if everyone talks it up, I'm 100% for sure my mind's gonna be like, I'll never watch it now.
That's exactly why I haven't watched Succession, because you think it's the greatest show
It's
of
an
all time.
amazing. It is one of the greatest
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. Well,
So Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, anything?
Breaking Bad was like my first show that I ever watched,
Yeah.
like in high school, and I still like will tune. Like I watch that like religiously. Yeah, I love Breaking Bad. I think that's like one of the greatest shows of all time. It's so good.
I didn't watch it when it was like I binge watched it after it was all done. Really good show.
Really
I like that one too. Jared, do you have any time to watch?
No, see, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We just finished Ted Lasso,
Okay,
that was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
and we're going to start it again. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
because
rewatch
there's so many
it.
references that from season 1 to season 3 that
Yeah.
you could
They
pick up
did
on.
a
So
really good job of going like making
Yeah.
doing that references
Yeah.
from the past that you could easily miss it, but
Yeah.
if you notice, you go, "That's well done."
yeah. So and then my daughter loves Modern Family. It's the kind of go-to.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else on her. She won't let me watch
That's
football or hockey, or I have to go down to the basement. You know,
Yeah.
Modern Family or even Superstore.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
You know.
we dabbled in Superstore a little bit. We did watch Modern Family. My wife had watched it probably a season or 2
Yeah.
before. She goes, you have to watch the show with me.
yeah,
She goes, you will love Phil Dunphy.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's
Yeah.
try. So
Yeah.
then we did it. We crushed through it. Absolutely love that show. And then I didn't watch Modern Family until after we did the TV Dad bracket.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
people were like, remember, Merrick, what was that called? What was the TV bracket called? The Uncle Phil, the Jerry Stiller Memorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I didn't realize how much of a legend Phil Dunphy,
Phil Dunphy,
was
yeah.
until after that bracket, because people were like, how is Dunphy not advancing? I was like, I don't know who this Dunphy guy is. I'm surprised. Like people are, and then I watched it, and Dunphy's like the ultimate dad.
Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
People text into the inbox 780-218-9999. Futurama is way better than Family Guy. Futurama number 1.
What?
Simpsons in recent years has been great. Hampton Steve says best show to watch right now is The Bear. Amazing.
Finished it.
Yeah, Bear's
Awesome
good,
show.
yeah,
Bear's
yeah.
really good.
Mhm.
And then my roommates in college were Simpsons fanatics, and we had a Simpsons drinking game. So we used to pick characters' names out of a hat and drink every time they talked.
Yeah, but you're not doing
That's
that with
nice.
main characters. Like you probably would do that with the secondary characters, like
No.
Mo and Barney,
No, I
Skinner, and things like that. Because if you're rolling
Let me ask,
with
was
with
this,
Bart in the family, you're in trouble. Apply to that guy,
I'm asking, was this all characters or just
because
secondary?
I feel like that's got to be secondary characters. Because if not, that's a real mess.
That well, if they're college kids, is that not what you want?
Okay, fair point.
That's fair.
But that would still be super messy.
Oh, you're not finishing that episode.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah. I would
done
think that's
beforehand.
That's a tough look. That is a tough look right there. Rod, definition. He's a crack packer. Rod, what's up, buddy? An underrated show is How I Met Your Mother. My wife watched that. I didn't watch that.
that one.
I loved How I Met Your Mother. I thought it wouldn't hold up because I did like a little bit of a rewatch recently. I thought it wouldn't have held up for 2023 standards. There are some things that you go, ooh, that probably
Really?
would go right now.
With
But
Doogie
for the most
Howser?
part, yeah, with Barney.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's still it's quite funny. It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
They
Every
did
season
that
of
really
Modern
well.
Family, the first couple seasons of Modern Family would never cut it today.
No.
You know, with the references they have and the
Early in
Yeah,
Modern
it's
Family,
crazy.
yeah, that's a
It's
good
crazy.
point. Yeah, it's crazy how that stuff
Yeah.
kind of changed.
Like I always wondered how if the Seinfeld episode, the contest, for those that know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I always wonder if that could fly in this day and age. If you could get
that
away
one could
with
still
it.
fly. The contest could still fly.
I think so, but I don't know.
I don't think we've changed the way people view that.
Yeah.
You know, I know like talking about that openly for like 30 minutes. I don't know. I could see.
Did you hear our show today?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? I think you can get away with some. There might have been some other episodes of Seinfeld that might not have aged very well, but I think the contest probably still works.
Just gonna still imagine Kramer walking in. I'm out.
Anyway, slams down.
Puts the money down.
Yeah, that was a good. And then in the final episode, when George admits that he cheated in the contest, he said, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "Cheater, Gerry." Just I love that show. It's so good.
So like that episode is like one of the best written shows probably because of how well they maneuvered all of that.
Yeah.
Saying what you want to say without actually saying it.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Exactly.
It was brilliantly written. Yeah, it was so good.
So this is well before your time.
Yeah,
but I'm not a clue.
Yes, that's what at all.
No.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to get you in on Seinfeld. Imagine this, like
Trev watched Seinfeld podcast.
yeah.
Every episode.
We can all have like a rewatch.
We can do it
Have
every
an
one.
episode
Yeah.
and just talk about it. He gets to view it for a first time. We get to view it as
Yeah.
You guys can ask me how
It's
I
not
like
a bad idea, actually.
the thing with like if you think back though to that time in the 90s, NBC dominated. I think it was Thursday nights because they had Friends and Seinfeld back to back. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't like Friends nowadays or still want to hate on it. It was huge back then, and so was Seinfeld. And one network had both of those and did them back to back.
Yeah, that's you own things then. Yeah.
Things at that. It's now like how HBO just owns everything because they have Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
Succession. They have White Lotus.
They have
They say Last of Us.
Righteous Gemstones.
I have to watch that, but I've heard great things about it.
It's pretty funny. It's kind of like a mockery of, the church system. And I'm a big Danny McBride fan. So Danny McBride to me is hilarious.
Yeah,
my wife hates Danny McBride. So it's probably our biggest issue in our entire relationship is that I think Danny McBride is one of the funniest dudes of all time. And she thinks he's one of the stupidest people she's ever seen in her life.
So good.
I think you're
Right?
both right.
Pineapple Express. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Pineapple Express is amazing. He's so good in that.
I think you're both right on that.
Like he is one of the stupid people, but he's also
I can see him saying like, he'd be one of the stupider people, but also he's pretty funny.
I mean, if you listen to him on Smartless, like I think it's like on Smartless. What?
Smartless?
Eric, you know Smartless.
No.
What
is this?
It's like the most popular podcast in the world right now.
I'm sorry. I listen to Edmonton Sports.
So you know what? I'm going to reach out to Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes, and let's pitch them on becoming a friend of EST. Guys, we'll
We need to get in the Edmonton market.
We'll play
Jason Bateman's
Smartless.
from Edmonton, isn't he? Isn't he the Edmontonian?
No, you're
No,
thinking
Will Arnett's from Arnett's from
you're
Toronto.
thinking of the rookie guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
Fillion, yeah.
He's another family, Modern Family one as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was dating the daughter. He was the winner.
Yeah. Rain, what's his name?
Yeah, his name was.
Maybe we could connect through him to get to this Smartless podcast, which somebody says Joe says is an amazing podcast.
Yeah, it is.
100% correct. But
I like outside of I don't have time. We create content. I don't have time to consume a lot. This is actually a good discussion. Jared, do you listen to podcasts? Okay, so let's have a little podcast chat here because, first of all, subscribe to all of ours. We would very much appreciate it.
Actually, we got a contest for the EST one that I have to throw out there eventually. So
Hold on, you're right. We'll do that. But for me, I don't have a lot of time to consume podcasts, but the ones that I do consume would be the MCTV podcast with Mark Bajo and Corey Graham. Love it.
Tonight, 7 o'clock, EmergenceSports.com.
Didn't necessarily need to lead into that plug, but it's awesome that it is.
I'm a shill.
One of my favorite podcasts is on our station, which I love. So huge shout out to them. If you're into like movies and Marvel comics and stuff like that, they got you taken care of. They also play Whale and the Wolf music on the pod, which is perfect. So check that one out. And then CBS Fantasy Football. I like the CBS Fantasy Football podcast. And then Smartless. Those are the only three that I really have time to consume. And Smartless is really well done.
Are they weekly podcasts, daily podcasts? I'm assuming Smartless and MCTV's twice a week.
MCTV's twice a week. I think Smartless it's at least once per week. I think it's once per week. And they just bring in they have the president on. They just bring in
Joe Biden.
Yes, they had him on. Now it wasn't a great episode, but they had the president on. Like they went to Washington and they were in a room and they dropped the president in for an hour and that's it. They've been going around on tours doing like live, but they just have really good discussions with like super famous people, and it's pretty entertaining. It's like an hour, and they got good chemistry. It's really good. I can't believe you didn't even know about some
I
of
have not
this.
heard of it.
Yeah, no, really good.
What do you listen to?
Honestly, I was hoping you were asked this. When I was in college, it was two guys in a goalie podcast and all this.
Yeah.
And so now here we are. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
I love it.
Achy
Yeah,
breaky
let's
for
do
me,
it.
man. That's
Achy breaky.
Achy breaky is one of
You
the
like
best
that?
ones.
It's
I
fun,
love it.
right?
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
got them all downloaded, and I just keep replaying them. And like I'm on the road a lot, traveling around Alberta, and it's always on. But I love the fact that I can now just find the show. It's so simple to find hour one on a Wednesday morning that I wasn't awake for.
It's pretty easy to click on. Yeah.
So,
Hey, Kiss, are you a big 1990s country guy, or did you just like the podcast?
I love the way you guys break it down.
Yeah.
But 1990s country was okay.
Yeah.
I was more old fashioned, Waylon and Willie and
Yeah.
those guys. And yeah.
Because Eric have gone into that stuff.
I'm creating my Spotify achy breaky playlist.
I love that.
Good
That's a really good idea.
I listened to what was one you guys broke down the other day? It was
Heads Carolina, Tails California.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
what a
listening-
garbage video.
and I'm listening to to Tune In Radio and
Yeah.
Johnny Jasno's thing and it comes on. And I go, geez, I know this song. I would have never, ever, because I'm visualizing everything you guys talked about, and all I could think about was how shitty that video is.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
How did you guys get on the charts?
Like after they killed the radio station, people I think were finding a way to try to listen to Eric and I together. Achy Breaky podcast like topped out at like number 13 radio or 13 music podcasts in the country,
Wow.
Yeah.
which was awesome.
That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That
It's
was
so much
cool.
fun. It's
We should get that on our stream, actually.
Yeah, we
You've been
definitely
meaning
could
to. I
have
gotta
straight.
put that on.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's too bad it's only like 27 minutes or 30.
Yeah, we
long
usually go
because-
27, 30 type of thing. Yeah.
But it's so much fun because I know most of that music,
Yeah.
but the way it's broken down is
It's really funny,
It's
like when you
hilarious.
actually dive into lyrics and videos and stuff, and you're like, man,
Yeah.
there's lots of some of the songs I think I like more because of the way we've done it, but some of the songs that I thought I really loved, I think, now I've kind of picked them apart. And it's like meeting your heroes, right? When you're just like, man, this is not as cool as I thought it was.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Dustin Nielsen, YouTube, Trev, Mattawanek, Gerry Haracsi from the Spirit of Edmonton with you here on the EST Hangout. Trev, you like country? Or like, where are you, like, at all country?
Yeah, it's funny because I moved here from the country, small town Alberta, Pincher Creek, and all the girls at work at like where I bartend or where I did bartend at Boston Pizza, they're like, "Oh, so you must love country." And I don't know what it was, but I only really started liking country like here while I've been in Edmonton, like back home. Like I think it's because that's all everyone plays.
I was going to say you were going against the grain.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, actually, since I've been in the city, I roll with some country lately. The girls, they seem to like Morgan Wallen. He seems to know what he's doing. He's got a pretty sick voice. So, just a little bit more.
I like to imagine you as a kid from the movie Footloose. The small town. Yeah, you're not like Ren McCormick. Like,
No,
okay.
not a chance.
All right. No, I just kind of thought it would fit in well.
There was other kids that were like that, but
no. Okay. I just thought I was like loose kid. I like it. That's good.
Nathan's agreeing. Best podcast is probably Achy Breaky. Joe also saying Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is a great podcast. I haven't tuned in.
Heard Smartless talk about Conan's pod.
I know Majot loves that one, but like Majot loves Conan O'Brien and stuff. And
he mentions that on the MCTV podcast sometimes. Yeah, I know it's good. I like it.
8 o'clock tonight.
What else?
7 o'clock tonight. Sorry,
we'll be partying. And
I was going to say,
so 7:30. So tailgate's 2 hours before. At Commonwealth, 5:30-ish. That's
the letter
of
says we
official.
open up 2 hours before.
So we'll say that officially, 2 hours before. How long has this tailgating been a thing kind of at Commonwealth?
We've been doing it 7 years, and in its infancy, it was a baby. It was small. It was
like a couple trucks.
There was maybe 25, 30, and then people realized for the price you pay to tailgate, it's pretty cheap because you get to park right at the stadium. And then it's kind of, last year it really blew up. Alan Watt and Karen Kandowski came up and said, what if we gave you, 3 times as much space, the Spirit of Edmonton, and we put a stage up front and you guys bring bands and we just crank it up to the next level. And that's what we did last year. And then this year it's like I said, the amount of stuff we go through every game, and I'm sure some people inside the stadium aren't just happy because fans are already coming in well lubricated and fed.
For sure.
But it's still to be out there with everybody. It's so much fun. And tonight there'll be a ton of BC fans that are going to be hanging out. They're going to wear their team's uniforms, but that's the beautiful part of the spirit of Edmonton. We want that to happen.
Sure.
We're not
part of the CFL, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah. I mean, you come in, well, tailgate shows it, but you come into our room at any Grey Cup city.
Yes.
And
It's the
usually
place to be.
it is. And we encourage, you don't come in a suit and tie. You can if you want, but come in wearing your team colors. And everybody's friendly with each other until kickoff, and then you can hate the opposition.
Yeah, for sure.
But, no, it's so much fun. Like 9:00 every night, we grab one person from each team, a representative. We bring them up on the dance floor, and Canada starts going, and it's like spine chilling, and
That's awesome.
they start singing it, and it's just true Canadiana. It is. It's a lot of fun.
have you guys maxed out the space that's been allotted to you for the tailgating now?
Yeah,
It looks
Yeah.
like it looks like it. Like it looks jammed. I was
Yeah.
saying today what I would like to see because I usually park over in lot C
Yeah.
and then walk up and I'll kind of take a look over. I really want to come all the time, but I'm like, I gotta
I've got that grape soda for you.
I know. It's nice to have a grape soda on board. But I said this morning on our show, man, like would love it to get to a place where it's that lot all by our TV truck
Mm-hmm.
and then lot B
Yeah.
right there as well too. I mean, eventually maybe lots. I mean, people got to park somewhere, but like, do you think that's even possible down the road?
Yeah.
But like, when they gauge the success of it and how much it helps product in general, that they can start sacrificing lot B to extend this tailgate.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We talked about moving to the other side of the stadium,
Okay.
but then the buses parked there. That would be
like in
ideal.
that big lot.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
That'd be cool too. Yeah.
But right now, I think status quo was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's great.
What
You
we
don't
run
wanna
into and
stretch it too thin.
no, and what we didn't realize, and nobody realized, is your parking stalls are 8 feet by 14 feet long or whatever they are, but everybody has a 10 by 10 tent. So we're encroaching 1 foot on each side of our neighbors, and by the time you get to the fourth tent, somebody doesn't have space. So I've talked to the Elks and the city about that, and maybe just increasing the size of give us a lot and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't go by parking stall. Give us a spot.
Yeah.
Almost tape it out or something.
Yeah,
a size.
Yeah, because it's hard to find. Funny, it's hard to find an 8 by 8 or an 8 by 10 tent because most of them are just a 10 by 10.
Well, first of all, if anybody's running a
Canopies.
tent company out
So,
there, it looks
yeah,
like
there
we
you
got
go.
a window for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely take one for free and promote it. I laugh because Bruce over at Tough does all of our stuff too.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's the nicest man there is. And their staff, I just phone them up and say, hey, I need this any time of year, and it's taken care of for us.
It was funny because we were getting this wall wrapped and the main studio wall wrapped, and it was like Jameson was by to visit, or I can't remember where he was. He was by, and I said, "Yeah, we're just waiting. Like the last thing we need is like that wall wrapped." And Jamo goes to us before he left that day. He goes, "I've known Bruce for a long time.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that he gets done, is that everything gets done when it needs to get done." And we launched on the Wednesday, and Tuesday afternoon, he had a couple of people in here making it just look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, he just delivers, man.
Yeah, when we open our room at 4:00 on Thursdays, regardless of where we are in the country, they're there with us at 10:00 Thursday morning, finalizing. Like we do the banners and the flags and all the pageantry that we put up. It's all done by Bruce and his crew. And it doesn't matter where we are. In Hamilton this year, I know they're going to be on site with us, helping set up, and they're amazing. Like,
do we know where you are in Hamilton? Like, can I ask that?
Yeah.
I remember Hamilton.
Like the last time in Hamilton, I was there for that one. Weren't you guys in that bar?
Yeah, we were really
that was a weird
restricted
year.
because
that was the COVID year.
But Ontario still had restrictions in place where Alberta, COVID went away for
that's true. Yeah.
So it was we were still restricted.
Yeah.
We were allowed 209 people.
Yeah.
In a 400-person bar. And so it worked out really well, but it was small.
Yeah. It was still a good time.
Yeah.
I remember I came by there with like Connor and Evan and stuff.
Yeah. And we were the only team party to commit to going. Nobody else committed. And then when the CFL pulled the plug on the festival, it was like, we still have to go. We're still the spirit of Edmonton. We're still the spirit of the CFL. We're going to be there. This year we're at Bridgeworks Studio. Tim Potosik is the owner, and he is the guy in Hamilton. He does all the production. He runs the music scene there. And he took over this warehouse. It's about 600 people we can get in there, but it's full-fledged sound system production studio stage. He does concerts there and everything. So I was there a couple of years ago for the 2-year Grey Cup. We looked at his room and thought, when this comes available, and let me know because we're going to take it.
That wasn't where the Tie Cats at their party was.
It was, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about there because I walked there from the hotel.
Yeah.
And that's a good spot, man. That's a really good spot.
We were going to.
It's not too big, but that's a really good party atmosphere there.
Well, we were going to tent the parking lot and make it 1,000 people, but then you got 500 people outside that can't really get the vibe of inside other than the video. Yeah. And we just thought, forget it. You don't know Hamilton.
Yeah. No, that's a nice little. It's like a warehouse feel.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it'll be great. And then our breakfast is back up at Michelangelo Banquet Center, which is in Upper Hamilton. And again, with COVID, we were 600 people. Now we're 900 people. But I just checked our ticket sales yesterday. I think there's 150 tickets left to purchase online for our breakfast.
Okay. So if you're heading to Grey Cup,
get your tickets now.
Tickets
now, yeah. And I talked to the producer yesterday. We will be flying screens in the room, so there won't be a bad seat in the house. Yeah. If you look at it online and you see I'm on a perimeter, it doesn't matter. There's gonna be a huge screen, facing out to either corner of the room. And,
Super cool, man.
What happens at the breakfast then for anyone that has never been? Maybe thinking about going.
Well, I've said this before. We call it a breakfast because it's in the morning at 8:00. It's really just a continuation of the night before.
Yeah.
Like you walk in, we have, this is the true spirit of Edmonton. We have the Rider pipe band that welcomes everybody into our room, and they're playing at 7:00, 7:30 in the morning. And, as people line up, the doors open at 8:00. People are lined up to get in, and it's all assigned seating. There is a nice, typical breakfast of the bacon and eggs and stuff you need from the night before to make you feel better. But then you start drinking this stuff, and nothing matters. Good. Yeah, but it's nonstop action. We've got all the cheer teams perform. We have live entertainment starting right at 7:30. This year we have Fiddlesticks, kind of a Celtic rock band, on stage at 7:30 on Saturday morning. Cool. And they'll be playing throughout the morning. And then we have a pipe band coming in. We have an Irish dance team coming in. And it's just, like I say, it's from when we get there at 6, starting mixing sluice juice. It's 6 o'clock till noon. And then we go shower, change our shoes and socks, and head down to the night show. And
you sneak in a nap?
We just no, I don't. I usually go from one to the other because I want to make sure everything's.
He's got the sluice shoes going.
Yeah.
Or he gets a latte.
Actually, it's funny. My little go-to is a shot of Jäger.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When I start one of those going down a little,
should have brought in a
little shot of Jäger, and I got to go back to work after this. But what's really neat is so our
come in.
Get in, come on.
Buddy, he's still scared. You still got to put up for videos today, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you'll be seeing some good edits there.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to see blurry videos later, go what YouTube Trev's got going on.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to say is, like, our fan base is national. Like, you go onto our spiritofedmonton.com site and everybody following us right from coast to coast, which is beautiful. But I realized when I took over that there's not a lot of Edmontonians that really know what the Spirit of Edmonton is.
Really?
So yeah. So
that's interesting.
So I've been out, and thanks to you guys, like the old place and here,
we like to pump it up.
You guys have been huge supporters of us, and this year we thought, why not let the city of Edmonton experience the Spirit of Edmonton? So on October 15th, Sunday, which is the day after the last home game, we're taking over OTR on the Rocks. And,
nice.
And we're throwing Spirit of Edmonton party. We have Rockzilla is playing, Tall Boys playing, our 2 tailgate bands. They're going to be playing. It's a $25 ticket, but for $25 you get a cheeseburger, a bowl of chili, and we're bringing the 500-liter tank and mixing on the dance floor.
Really?
Yeah. So you get sluice juice, burger, chili, $25. You can go to spiritofedmonton.com. The link's up there right now. We're going to be selling them at the game tonight
at OTR,
and it'll be at OTR on Sunday, October 15th. And I just think. It's just a great way for us to show.
Is it Thanksgiving Sunday?
No, it's a week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. They're thinking smart there.
Yeah. So, you know what? I picked the tickets yesterday. I'll give you guys some tickets, and you can.
I have a feeling that if I end up going to OTR on a Sunday, I might not be in on Monday morning. So that
or you're just going to roll right in,
or just
have that show.
You're in Edmonton,
because all the time. Who cares?
Sports Talk starts at, I don't know, 10:15.
We're just gonna throw the studio on a video of it empty
Yeah.
until you roll
Yeah,
it.
but there'll be hundreds of people watching, being like,
Yes.
what time are you going to get here? It's amazing.
But we'll put a line in as what time, over,
Yeah.
under, when you show up,
Yeah,
and
who
everyone's
shows
gonna
up
be
first,
watching
yeah.
for that one.
I honestly think with the way that nasty chat on YouTube has gone in the morning, that we could just put up a picture of the desk for like 45 minutes. And people will keep themselves entertained
100%
in
they
the
would.
chat
Yeah.
about like, where is everybody? What's
Yeah.
going on? What's the theory?
Yeah.
That's how awesome it is. That's cool.
We're at Gerry, Haracsi, Spirit of Edmonton,
Super
Matawana,
engaged.
YouTube, Trev, Dustin Nilsson with you here on the EST Hangout. This text comes in 780-218-9999. I should have mentioned this earlier. Library Pat, earlier in the week, you mentioned Bryn Griffiths would be on today's Hangout. Still happening. I'm hoping to hear him. Unfortunately, Bryn messaged me last night saying he came down with the cold, so he's a bit sick. So he's not coming in today because he's just going to try to feel better. But hopefully, we'll get him in.
We'll get him rescheduled.
Once I don't know what his schedule looks like, but hopefully maybe next week. But we will have Bryn come in, but unfortunately a little bit sick. When it comes to the Elks game though for tonight, like it's funny that Trev is here because like for me, I haven't gone to an Elks game for like 10 years before this year because I was doing the pre and post games at the station, so I couldn't make it to the games again. And I'm seeing everything that's happening, and seeing the tailgate is just unbelievable. Anyone that hasn't been to a game in a while, get to the tailgate, west side of Commonwealth. It is a lot of fun. But Trev, you hadn't been to an Elks game
Yeah, man.
until the one against Ottawa when they got that win.
The first up,
And you were telling us earlier, like you had a great time at it.
Yeah, man, it was so sweet. So it was funny because I was still bartending at the Kingsway Boston Pizza at the time, and me and my buddy Stu, we were talking like, "Hey, man, we're going to a game this year, and when we go, like they're gonna win. It doesn't matter when we go, but whenever we go, we just have this weird feeling they're gonna win." And so we tried going earlier in the summer. It didn't quite work out. They ended up losing, whatever. But yeah, we finally got tickets, and we're like, "Okay, we're feeling good. We're feeling good." We had some drinks. Obviously, you mentioned Jaeger earlier. Yeah, we were definitely. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Friend of mine.
Are you a Jaeger guy?
No, I actually can't stand it. But my roommate, like he swears by it, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, so we show up to Commonwealth, obviously pretty sloshed, and I'm a small town Alberta boy, right? Like I've never been like I think Rogers Place is still just like magnificent. Every time I'm in there, I'm in awe. But
Well, it is.
man, it is. The Commonwealth, I was like, and I think it might have been just because I was pretty like turned, so that I looked and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. I was in awe, man. Like my jaw dropped, and Stu, like he's from the city, he's been there plenty of times. He said like my reaction when I first saw it was like just priceless, man. Because I'm like just kind of like cross-eyed, probably like holy crap.
You know what's really cool is I'm city. I've been here all my life, and to hear that is really cool. But if you ever get a chance, you've been down to field level,
No.
and you look back up at the stadium,
Yeah.
you think that thing's 45 years old now. I think
Man.
it is absolutely beautiful.
insane.
What was it? When was the
80s,
Commonwealth
well,
game?
it's 78, but I opened 77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, like tonight after the game, Maddie, you're allowed to take kids down on the field. So
we should take Trev
Trev down there, and you can run on the field.
Here's our kid. Can we run the field and
Go on, Trev, go on. We'll throw some balls to you and stuff. That's good.
it is a great thing that the Elks do that.
Yeah, it's
My kids love it, man.
Yeah.
Like we after a game, and I never get to go to the games with them because I'm always working it. But after the game, once we finish up all our stuff that we need to do, I'll go down and I'll get to usually be out there for like 5 or 6 minutes before they usher everybody off. But it's amazing. Like I didn't grow up here, so I never had the chance to even go to the game as a kid. I think my first CFL game, even in attendance, I was like 21, 22. So I never had an opportunity to experience that. But like for my kids, who are probably the most knowledgeable 6 and 8 year olds in the history of the Canadian Football League, because they watch all the games that I do. They know all the players. Even Elizabeth, she's in grade 1. She'll tell you what number Zach Kalaris wears and what position Nick Dembski plays, and who's the quarterback of the Edmonton. So they love it. So for them to be down on the field is incredible. Like Marshall running routes after the game, he thinks he's on the team. Like he's like shooting around people and gets mad at me if I don't give him a good throw. Like that's awesome. I wish I could realize how much it actually means to them, but I can tell like this is super special. So
Huge that the team's allowing that, because they've missed 2 generations of that already. You know, like I said, my kids are 29 and 30, and if I didn't give them their season's tickets, they wouldn't go to the games. Except, well, Curtis is the lead singer of Fall Boy and is out there at every tailgate anyway. But yeah, that whole generation, is, we missed that group. So to do it,
When did they allow them to start going on the field? How long ago?
I think that was this year.
No,
Well,
they've done it.
They were on last year for
I
sure
thought
too.
was it every game?
Well,
though?
they were with COVID. CFL wasn't allowing anybody on the field,
Yeah,
right?
I think last year they were allowed on.
Yeah, they might have been near the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to Bruce from Huff, and he'd have to get there. And he goes, as soon as I get down on the field, I can't leave the field. So if I'm there at 11 o'clock in the morning, I can't come back up.
During the with the
During
COVID
COVID
restrictions
times,
and stuff. Yeah, because we weren't like, sometimes we'll pop down on the field just to talk to players and stuff before the game.
Yeah,
and during that time, we weren't allowed to do that because we were in like tier 2, so we had to stay up.
Yeah.
I think Blake Dermott for Chad was signed on reporter. And it's
He had to be down
because
there.
he had to be there and he couldn't go anywhere. Like it was once you're through whatever
You're there,
protocols, you're there.
Yeah.
You're there until you leave. You
So,
can't
but
go
they never
anywhere
did
else.
this before, hey? Like before the pandemic, it wasn't.
Yeah, they
I
did.
feel
because
like when Marshall was younger,
my
he
kids,
was
they
out
did
there.
because I know my daughter, who's 12 now, was part of the kids club or whatever they called it, and they were allowed to go down on the field. But it was unfortunate that I was always too busy hosting to
What got you into the team?
into the spirit.
No, into the cheering for the Elks or like being around.
I was born and raised in Edmonton.
Yeah,
I was just. I went to the very. I can't
Was it
remember.
Clark?
I went to Clark Stadium as a not whole ganger, and then they moved into Commonwealth a year before the games, and I think it was a playoff game against BC. And my dad got us tickets in the end zone. And it was freezing cold, but it was Commonwealth Stadium, the first game. I think it was, probably October, November of '77. And I've had season seats. I graduated in '82, so I bought them that year. I've season seats since '82. So,
Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
In which year? 82?
Yeah.
I was 1.
Yeah.
We weren't
I
born.
was not.
You guys
yeah.
weren't
The two
born.
of us
Yeah,
are
no,
born.
no.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and speaking of missed generations, though, because like Trev, now like you're not from the city, but the CFL didn't have you as a fan,
Yeah,
really. But your dad is a fan.
yeah,
So like the CFL somehow missed people like you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I don't know what it was, like, just growing up. I think Grandpa was just too busy watching hockey. But yeah, I mean, my dad, he's from Winnipeg, huge Blue Bombers fan, and like that whole side of my family, they love football. But growing up with my mom, she never really kind of turned on the CFL that heck of a whole lot. But a lot of my buds, they're huge, like Stampeders fans and all that.
The tailgate is creating a lot of fans.
Yeah.
where they see. They
want the
that
party.
They want the party, and they come, and they know it doesn't cost them anything when they get there. It's not just the spirit; it's everybody that Tonight's the chili cook-off. Well, you can go taste 100 different chilies and then come by for a free beer and a sausage.
Patrick Elks heard with the chili cook-off 2023, 1 chili per judged per stall. You can go around, get your ballots at Lot 46, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think that's the podcast guys.
Yes.
those are
They're
they're with
Elks
us.
heard.
They're on.
They're friends of EST, and
Yeah.
they're doing the first chili cook-off. So if you're at the tailgate area, head around, have chili. If you're like Dusty, you might have a little tough time.
Not a big
It's
chili
kinda like
guy.
me too.
Not a big chili guy.
Doesn't like the beans.
Our chili's going to look a lot like an Italian
Are you
sausage.
involved?
No, we're serving our sausages again.
Okay,
okay.
Because you guys do.
We do the Italian sausage from Ital Canadian Meats. We do 200 of those every game. We have the pork sausage and the chicken sausage. And then we have our friends from Molson's that provide us with lots and lots of refreshments. And our neighbors usually have Kubi burgers and Cortez. They're right next to us on the other side, and they're doing everything as well. Like they had burnt ends the other day, onions, and just the smell of the frying up those onions. And anyway, it's all free. Like you just come on, walk around.
The one thing that drives me crazy, and I think more people are kind of getting used to it now, but like whenever that conversation pops up on like, well, yeah, I can't go to the CFL game. I can't even tailgate. We're like, yes, yes, you can.
7
you
years
can
we've been doing
tailgate
this.
now. Like it's been happening. It's a
Yeah.
thing. There's so many, issues that people have that actually aren't issues, and they're just not aware
Yeah.
that it's an issue, right?
Yeah.
As a huge fan of the league, and obviously somebody who promotes the league heavily, it drives me nuts when people have uninformed opinions. Like if you're informed and you have an opinion about, great, everybody has their own opinion. I get that.
Yeah.
But when you're just I'm an NFL guy, can't go there, you can't even tailgate. How can you take it seriously? It's like, well, first of all, inform yourself.
Yeah.
And then if you still feel the way, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't turn a blind eye to it because you don't know what's going on.
And especially the talent on the field. Like I haven't, other than early season Elks when they were finding ways
Yeah.
to lose, the games were still kind of entertaining.
Yeah, they had a few
Just
good
because
ones.
I was an Elks fan, I'm shaking my head going, what are you doing? But now, I can't recall a bad CFL football game this year that hasn't gone either into overtime or to look at last week, 21 points in a minute and 30 seconds to win a game.
Yeah.
You'd never see that in the NFL.
That final 3 minute thing is a legit thing in the CFL. Game's not over.
Yeah.
In the final 3 minutes, you could have multiple changes of possessions, not just one, multiple. And the only thing like it in 4-down football is college football. College football can have that quick comeback. In the NFL, you have the ball with 3 minutes to go, depending on the timeout situation. You could easily finish that game off. It's done.
Over,
So you know this is it. CFL, it's not that way. And like last year, the play was a little down. I think
it's back now.
It's been great this season, start to finish, almost of this entire league. And I think one thing that does help is you've had the Argos and Lions take that step up closer to the Bombers, while the Bombers have maybe taken a little bit of a step down
defensively.
It's opened it up a little bit more. We're not just seeing the Bombers roll through, but we're getting close football games. Even though like the Red Blacks haven't won, I don't know how long, they're still playing in
They played like 4 or 5
games.
thrillers this year.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I was, we get to do like these Zoom calls with usually a coach and 2 players every week for whatever game we're on, right? So I was on a call with the Lions 2 days ago, and I asked, because Rick Campbell said on the call that, the finish of that Ottawa BC game was great for the league. And I said to him, there was a lot of heat on the league coming out, like especially during the shortened season. I get it, that's tough. And Rick basically pointed out what a lot of us think. He goes, well, these guys haven't played football in forever. Of course, it's going to be a little rusty, right? Like anybody in that sport, whatever their sport is, for sure. Or if you haven't worked your job, you're going to be rusty coming back. But he pointed out, he goes, like, this has been an amazing year for the Canadian Football League. Like that level of entertainment in the league this year is probably the best that I think we've seen in like 4 or 5 seasons. It's great. And then all the quarterbacks get hurt. And early in the year, it's like, oh, the CFL has a quarterback issue. The CFL does not have a quarterback issue. Look at Powell and Hamilton. Look at Crum in Ottawa. Look at Trey Ford here now. I mean, it's...
Dolegala
even looks like he could be a starter too. Like, so to me, I mean, I think this has been a phenomenal year. I think the receiving talent around the league is some of the highest that it's ever been. There's like a lot of teams have 3 really good options at receiver, and we've already got 2 running backs who are at 1,000 yards already this year. So I'm extremely biased in this, but I think it's been an excellent season.
I still want to get a little more into the CFL in a bit, but I have a question still for you, Trev, because you're that younger generation. You're younger than all of us. What do you think the CFL needs to do to get people more like you into the game? What is there something that you think that maybe they're not doing that is a way to encourage younger people to be fans of this league?
Well, just like after school, I guess, like just seeing the marketing side of things, like maybe they could like approach their stars a little bit better. Like I don't really see a heck of a whole lot of it on TV, but like going with like the tailgating, like, I mean, you're saying it, and like I've seen it firsthand all summer, like at Kingsway Boston Pizza. It's been like people have been coming like pre-drinking before the tailgating parties, and like they're all pretty young. Like it's pretty sweet. So that has a lot to do with it. So I mean,
kids want to party.
Yeah, man. Like the kids want to party. Like that helps a lot. But I mean, that's more so for like the tailgating. So aside from getting people in, for me, I mean, like honestly, one thing is just like surrounding, like, like I wasn't really a fan, coming into Edmonton of like the CFL, but like I'm with you guys now, and like just learning, like you surround yourself with people know what they're talking about, and like that's what I really like that, right? I had no idea what was going on and what's going on, but you guys, you're just learning, right?
What we need to do as a league is adopt 5 non-CFL fans as a CFL fan.
Yeah, man.
And you encourage them to get into the CFL.
Every single fan adopts 5 fans.
Has to adopt 5 other people.
Legally.
Yeah.
And you're now forcing them to watch the CFL and get them into this game. It's on you.
Yeah, that's
every one of us. We have to find 5 different non-CFL fans.
Yeah. I think you'll find the broadcasts pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and Dustin's just been crushing it over here.
It's the West games. I don't know. They're questionable. It's those East games. They're just fantastic. I must say. A couple of comments into the nasty chat on YouTube. Dusty and Lieutenant Eric completely destroyed hungover morning show would be epic. From Filthy. I think that would be something.
Maybe one day.
Strummy, is EST After Dark a thing yet?
Not yet, but it likely will be at some point.
Eventually.
I think that would be
we'll get there.
something.
You could probably just turn out the lights and leave the nasty
This is-
chat going.
That's
It'll
true.
just take care of itself.
Yeah, let's take care of this. Tonight we're going to stream nothing for 2 hours in the dark.
But you have chat with each other.
1,400 views.
Joe also saying when it comes to the kids running on the field, he said he's had season tickets for 10 years. Elks/Eskimos were doing it for years, but you had to buy a kids pass with your
To
season
get in.
ticket.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now everyone can go. It's not just season ticket holders. So yeah, they've been doing it for, I guess, a while, but now anyone like Trev's going to go down today and run the full field.
Yeah.
Then we're going to throw rope passes,
Yeah, we're gonna
catch them, and he's going to make diving catches in the end zone. We're going to do it all.
There's a chance Chris Jones stashes you on some junior team somewhere just to see how you develop for the next couple of
He's
years.
on a neg list after this.
Yeah.
And then Tim says the spirit of Edmonton parties at the Grey Cup is better than the game. And I'll always go back to what JMO said about the Grey Cup parties. Say it as a broken record over and over. Grey Cup and Spirit of Edmonton is the party. And that's not being an Edmonton homer. That is just legit the case.
Yeah.
Other teams have their parties. They're fine. Spirit of Edmonton, though, is at the top. But it's just Canada's biggest kitchen party. That's all it is.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Like there's no better way to describe it. It's Canada's big kitchen party.
We started in 1974, so 49 years of doing it. There was times when we were in Eastern Canada, and before I was running the Spirit, that we were the only thing at Grey Cup. There was no festival. There was no giant slide on Jasper Avenue. There was nothing. It was just Spirit of Edmonton. And it's nice when you walk into other rooms and I look around and I go, this is the Spirit of Edmonton. They're copied everything we've done, which is, I love it because
It's flattering.
there's no better way for Canadians to come together, because I did Hamilton radio yesterday, and the interviewer asked, what's it like coming east, because you're Alberta? And I go, what does that mean? We don't think of you guys like that.
Yeah.
You're thinking of us like we're the enemy. So we're just Canadians having fun. We're bringing it together for a week.
It's very different. The example I have, this is just a really bad example, but it kind of ties into, them coming and being like, wow, we got these weird Albertans coming in. Like, this is crazy. But I was talking with a couple of guys from our crew. We were at Sherlock's after the last game here in Edmonton. And the conversation came up with, I think, Britt and I, and she's from like small town Sask. And she was talking about icing somebody. And the people in Ontario,
do we all know what icing
people
is?
from Ontario,
Yes.
exactly.
Making sure.
Oh, yeah.
But my buddies from Ontario, Eddie and Rubes, they had no idea what it was. What do you mean? What's being iced? What's being iced? And I
I
said,
have to find out.
like what? No, and
Careful going to the
Exactly.
no, oh man, not me. Different crew too. So okay.
You don't want to pull the
That's,
chair up before the game and also
have to do it. Yeah, have to do it. But later on, Britt actually iced Eddie that night, like 45 minutes later.
Nice.
And then I guess they went back. Rod was out to do a game. I don't know where I was. Oh, that Banjo Bowl weekend. So he was out here to do the rematch game. And I guess like these grown men like iced each other like 3 times, 2 hours at Sherlock's. And I find it fascinating. It's probably not a great example, but I do find it fascinating how like Ontario is so much different than the prairies. It's nuts.
It is different. Funny ice story. So Curtis, my son, got married a year ago, and they asked me to officiate, to be, so I got my license for the day. And Diana, his fiance, now wife at the time, said, I'm going to ice him at the end of the ceremony. So
at the end of the ceremony?
Yeah. So we're standing, they got married outside down at Rainbow Valley. It was beautiful. And I'm, the dad, and trying to fight off the tears as I announced them husband and wife. But I got this bag in my hand. And I go, Curtis, Diana has something for you. And she handed him the bag and iced him right there in front of everybody in his tuxedo. It was perfect.
Wow, not even at the reception, at the ceremony.
No, at the ceremony. Yeah.
First one as married couple.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
crazy.
And he looked at her like, oh.
Is this big with the kids, Trev? Like, are you guys icing each other?
Oh yeah, we're
It's big.
I mean, yeah, I thought like we started it. I'm not gonna lie, like. I had no idea you guys were. That's awesome. Yeah,
we started
Well, I wouldn't have known until I got iced by my son.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like, I get iced almost every birthday since I've been 18. For sure. I'm icing everyone on their birthdays.
That's the
one thing.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
I was like, you guys know this?
Smirnoff Ice came out when I was probably a little bit younger than you are now. And I've told it on the show before, but I was basically just a beer drinker back then. I didn't get into like spice rum or any hard stuff then. So this was like something new and cool for me. So I remember I had like the first one. I was like, oh man, this stuff is amazing. So I went and bought a couple of flats of it, and I crushed that for about 2 weekends, maybe 3 weekends. And it was just too much. Like I've never actually bought it again since then or ordered it. The only thing is like if you're golfing, you'll get one, you try to ice somebody, and that's about it. So when I actually do get iced, drives me nuts because I don't like that
It's like
stuff.
you're drinking orange juice now.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a fan of the ice anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Like, but now I'm looking at my glasses and thinking,
Well, it's perfect time for a break here too on the EST Hangout. Gerry, Haracsi, YouTube, Trev, Dustin Nelson. Lieutenant Eric's going to slide in when we come back. You're watching on YouTube. You're listening at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You're going to see me come up to the camera right away to send us to break.
We got to get that wireless mouse fixed. We're gonna have to get that sorted out.
Awesome.
The Nielsen Show.
Enough about me, though. What's up with you guys?
Well, Phrase, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Well, Eric's married now.
I know.
I have to wear a ring now.
Yeah, listen, obviously the invite got lost in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal. It happens.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Listen.
you can't trust Canada
I
Post these
had
days.
something going on.
He's fasting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric, I can't make it to your wedding. I'm not eating right now.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings at 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell take you on a hot lap around the NHL with Hello Hockey, Saturday mornings at 10, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Catch up with friends of EST, Andrew, Mike, and Kayla as they get you in the huddle with the Edmonton Elks on the Turf District. Thursday nights at 8, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Friend of EST, Eric Thomas, takes you around the track all the way to the checkered flag on Raceline Radio. Tuesday nights at 8 and Saturday morning at 9, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join Murray McCourt and Curtis Stock for tips and tales from courses around Edmonton and area with the VIP Golf Show, presented by the Tailor Made Performance Center at the Ranch. Sundays at 8:30, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast, located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
We're back here on the EST Hangout. Matawanak, Gerry Haracsi of the Spirit of Edmonton. YouTube, Trev, who's gone in for another serving of sluice juice. We weren't supposed to say that out loud,
Yeah,
but
don't tell Dusty.
it's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
And Lieutenant Eric dropping in here as well. Andrea coming in to the text, 780-218-9999. Stop by Stall 14. Say hi. Doing the chili cook-off too. So that's happening.
14?
Stall 14. So Spirit of Edmonton. Is it the Spirit of Edmonton tailgate? Is that what it's labeled?
well, we call it that. There is a sponsor, but it's not us, and it's another station in town.
No,
But you know what? They do a great job. The Elks do a great job, and we just we're kind of the center and I've said this before, we're the center of tailgate because we are physically the center of tailgate.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
right there. Right near the stage.
yeah.
So if you're
And then-
looking for Spirit of Edmonton, look for the stage.
Yeah.
And then look behind you, and you'll see.
And you'll see the big tents,
Yeah.
you know, that were all wrapped by Huff.
Family affair, though. Everybody gets along down there. Everybody, there's no
There's never
jostling
an
for
issue.
position or
Never.
territorial rights. Or
No,
anything.
like I
That's
was saying
awesome.
earlier, you know, we have 10 by 10 tents and an 8-foot stall, and we encroach on everybody, but everybody gets it.
That's good.
You know, they
Yeah.
understand. No, it's perfect. We have a lot of fun, and you know, I walk around prior to, and like the turf district guys, you know, I always take them sluice juice. Aaron Grimes and his family is right behind us as well.
He's always down there. He's always down there.
I've seen Aaron
Always.
Grimes walk
Yeah.
around. I didn't know his family had a
Yeah.
stall there.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
He says he walks into the dressing room pre-game now, and he's got 2 things of sluice juice and a sausage. And where do you get that from? He said, you got to go see Gerry at the Spirit of Edmonton.
Corey's his hero down
So,
there.
yeah,
eh?
Corey's right next to us.
Yeah, that's right, too. I
Yeah.
hang out with them.
Yeah.
So I always go down there. You meet so many people. And
Yeah.
then you go back the next game and you meet them all again.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's always that kind of
Yeah.
When I went to the Elks game on Labor Day rematch, I was on the train and there was a player. I was like, as a guy, I was like, this guy looks like a player, fully decked out Elks gear, had a hat on with the tag still on it.
Okay.
And then I was like, so I got to the game, like, what was that, 7:30 kickoff? Was that 7, whatever it was? I got there like 20 minutes before the game. And I looked him up after the game, and it was a practice roster type player. I'm like, should you be in the stadium a little
CFL.
him or anything about like he's running late or something? I was just like, what is going on? I forgot to ask Hernan about that. I'm like, is that allowed? Or
Those are the stories I love.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
you have? Oh, we opened up. We've got a little gifts here. These are little Spirit of Edmonton flasks.
These are brand new. They were right
very
off the-
yeah,
yesterday. I picked
How
them
are
up.
people able
So-
to get these? Because there's a VIP package for Spirit of Edmonton
so
this year.
in Hamilton, this is the first time we've ever done it. We're selling VIP passes to the Spirit of Edmonton room Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. So the tickets are online at spiritofedmonton.com. There's click on the link. We only made 100 of these passes available, and for $100 you get in the room, no lineup until 8 p.m. And then if you're there after 8 p.m., it's front of the line. You receive this hot little flask that we have engraved with the Spirit of Edmonton.
Just quickly, that line pass comes in huge. Right? I mean,
Especially this year,
huge
because
experience. Yes. Yeah.
we're only 550, 600 people. We're
There you
only
go.
2,000.
Yeah.
You know, so
Makes a difference.
yeah, and then you get a prepaid drink with your ticket every night as well, and a few other little things we're working on right now. But yeah, spiritofedmonton.com. Click the link for the VIP. There's also the breakfast ticket passes are on sale there as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to getting to Hamilton. I'm actually in Vancouver a week today, planning 2024.
Oh, I was about to say, I can't wait for
Yeah.
Vancouver next year.
Yeah.
Edmonton Sports Talk for sure.
Road
on
trip.
the road to Greece. We're going to be in this building next year. Apparently, basis we're doing it. What's going to sink Edmonton Sports Talk is the fact that we spent so much money on road trips.
Mileage. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Let's look at this Elks game though for tonight a little bit. Do the Elks get a point in this game?
I say they should just punt it through. Get the rouge. Do something like that.
We got a delivery here.
Big delivery.
Lucas Holt from Whale and the Wolf has just stopped by.
This was the second surprise that I was teasing today.
Well, I
right
think
here.
Dusty's around somewhere, so he's talking. Dusty's. Oh, then he'll be back
Oh,
right away.
yeah.
Make yourself at home a
Yeah,
little
chill
bit.
out. I had a half bag of rice that you can munch on of you.
Yeah, like can the Elks? Sorry to interrupt everyone. I
Yeah.
don't know
Hey,
who's
buddy, how are
talking.
you?
Elks able to get like
Look at
what are we
it.
looking at in this game? Well, what should we expect from this Elks team? Because look, they're playing. If we look recency bias, I said it earlier in this week. I think they're the third best team in football right now in the CFL. Like I think they're hotter than the BC Lions, playing better football. The BC Lions have struggled a bit as of late. They had an unbelievable. They get the win last week, an unbelievable comeback. But if Lewis Ward makes that kick, game is over. Lions don't have their comeback. They lose to the Riders. They lose to the Ticats. The Elks still got shut out twice by this BC Lions team.
That was a different Elks team.
Yeah.
Yeah, different Elks team, totally. I mean, they've got the wins, they've got the confidence is the biggest thing. And the way the defense has been playing, although the first 3 quarters last week wasn't the best, but they really cranked it up in the fourth quarter.
I don't even think they ever lost the confidence, really. Like, it seems like a room that never really...
Yeah.
They should have lost their heads multiple times in finding creative ways to lose.
Yeah.
And it just seems like they've always just been waiting to pop, and never given up on each other.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a close game, and I have a good feeling tonight, you know.
They'll score points.
Yeah.
You're not getting... Getting shot at once in the CFL is one thing, twice is...
that's unbelievable.
3 times ain't going to happen.
No.
You almost do the punt. Do the rouge. Give me a rouge. I just want to see it just for...
Okay, but so now, based on what we've seen, how well do you think that the Elks match up to the BC lines? Like we talked about it on the Nielsen show with the cool bet line of the day. And I don't know how much everyone here is into the betting, but it's 6.5 favorites are the BC line. So it's almost a touchdown difference that the line is saying that the lines are better than. Do you agree with that, or are the Elks closer to the BC lines at this moment in time as we're getting set for this game tonight?
I like the Elks.
I like the Elks. I like the Elks and the points there. That's I would take that too. Yeah, that's. I don't think they're going to lose by that much.
No.
If they lose at all.
And BC's a bit of a, as you said too. I don't really know standings wise. Sure, you see where they are, but
that was early season.
It's a late bit of Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah,
and defense was great at the start of the season.
That line.
Like we could talk about the Elks not scoring points because of not being good, being inept. But also credit to the BC lines in those two games because the defense was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But they haven't looked that way even.
And now they're coming up against a Gerry Jackson.
Like different OC.
Same as Hamilton, and Marshall was touching on this too. The new OC, you maybe turn the page, simplify things maybe, or use more of your weaponry like they are.
Yeah.
And, Trey Ford's the one that gets the headlines. But it's that play calling. I mean, we were talking about McAdoo for years here, right?
Yeah.
As a Rider fan, I was talking about McAdoo for years. Like, it's all, McAdoo was always, and Chris Jones so stubborn with his coaches. It feels like making that change for him was almost a watershed. Like, that's unheard of for him as well, to kind of go away from a guy that he knows, albeit he's still in the organization. But it's huge. The play calling is different. It's a new, as you mentioned, tale of two seasons.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I, with what we do, I usually don't get in until the end of the first quarter, so I can tell what's going on by the noise.
Cheers.
There hasn't been a lot of cheers the first half of the year. I'd be walking in and like kind of one eye look at the scoreboard, going, "What am I walking into?" But lately it's been so much fun, and even coming out of that game against Ottawa. Trevor, you were there to make us win, which was perfect.
Yeah, I know.
He was the good luck charm in the end.
I said I was talking with Morley after the game, and I said, it's so nice to leave this place with a smile on my face.
You show up with a big smile. You must know the team had the record. It was going to the tailgates earlier this season. Great fun, but you're right. Leaving was a different.
It was incredible walking out and just seeing how happy everyone was.
And I have never heard that stadium that loud in the last 2 minutes when they're cheering the defense on, to hold them. And also you could tell it was kind of a, oh no, are we going through this again? But they were also, it was an enthusiastic.
Well, that Winnipeg game, and you and I were walking around the concourse, and they were up, 3 scores?
22-0.
And you could, it was just tense.
Yeah.
You should be, hey, you're up at one of the best
teams. You feel good.
You're kind of,
but everyone knew.
Was knife's edge.
You knew that start of the third quarter was going to be so important.
The worst lead in football is a 20-some point one with the Elks, right?
I don't want to say the other score because my brother's a fan of the other team, but 28-3.
Yeah.
I just that one out there.
Yeah. It's awesome.
When was the last time you've seen a player as exciting as Trey Ford?
Oh, well, you know what? I remember Ricky Ray, his first game in Edmonton.
Yes.
And I remember watching him and thinking, how can this guy be so calm and cool out there? He's never played a down of CFL football.
Young, too.
Then he never gave the ball back when he came in.
The chip delivery, man. That was the whole vibe at the time, right?
Yeah. And I remember even Matt Dunnigan, when he first started playing, he was a linebacker. Like out there, that's what he looked like. He looked like a linebacker playing quarterback.
I didn't know that.
No. He looked like a linebacker playing quarterback because you usually didn't see this. Like he was a well-built guy. He still is, but he's and he's running like crazy and taking hits and giving hits, and he wasn't afraid at all. So it was really neat to watch. But the neatest thing is now we finally have a hero in Edmonton for the Elks. Past president used to be the face of the team. That should never happen. It needs to be a player. We never had that. We never had our hometown hero. Now we do, and he's a Canadian kid. That's beautiful.
That's just that rockets it up a notch or two, right?
Yeah.
That Canadian content, the passport. I mean, he's a well-spoken guy.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to have him out here on the Hangout Monday.
Yeah, Trey Ford, Gavin Cobb will be part of the EST Hangout Monday.
It's going to be huge.
Thanks
that's
to
cool.
Vernon and Salas for that. So we'll have them in, and it'll be fun to talk to 2 good Canadian players.
Yeah.
But it's great to talk about how good Trey Ford is. We actually don't even have to say passport, right?
Well, and
we don't have to have the preface it of he's this great Canadian quarterback. We could just say quarterback in the CFL, and no one because he's been that good.
But you used to it would just be linemen.
Yeah.
You're in Cobb too. You're looking at electric players, Dembski, Oliveira. I mean, there are guys now that can.
We need more Andy Fantus and Brad Sinopoulos again in this league, which is we had Andrew Harris for a long time too, but the Jerome we need the skill players on offense to be Canadian,
and you need to tell them as Canadian. It's important.
You're right, though. It shouldn't. You get to a point where you're like, it's not a big deal,
right? But I think it elevates players when we can talk about them as Canadians, but they're great Canadians, but also they're good when we could take the Canadian part out of it. And they're still talked about as one of the better players in the league.
And we've said this before numerous times. No offense to Trey Ford, but he's not going anywhere. Unless he's putting up numbers that we haven't seen before. But
well, you just hope he doesn't go east. That's it.
Sure, and that's
because that's the one thing you have about Canadians in the CFL. They like going back home.
It's a big country,
and those guys that are drafted out west or out east that are from the other part of the country, often after that first contract, you see him potentially head the other way. So he has got one more year. Next year, like the thing you have to do, I don't know how soon you could sign an extension with players in the CFL. You need to get that done like ASAP.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they need to.
It'd be a statement too, right? Of intent from the you signal to the fans like we're riding now.
You give him what was the biggest contract that we've seen thrown out there recently? There was a big one. I think there was a 4 or 5 year that went out.
Kelly's
not 3.
3.
I think there was a 4 I saw recently.
That's big in the CFL.
It is. You get Trey Ford on a 4 or 5 if you can. You break the mold if you can.
Yeah.
I don't care. You do that, and you give him that guaranteed money. You make sure he stays here because this is a guy that could lead this franchise for a decade.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not like NFL, you're always dealing in terms of projects, 8 year, whatever. But a 4 or 5 year in the CFL, that's like a 10-year in America. Like, right, you're set now in moving forward. And that, again, to get this fan base cooking again and have a little bit of solidification, right, in that position and just confidence there, that would go a long way. It's the marketability.
It's pretty sweet. Like, honestly, from an outsider, like I said, I'm still like, learning the ropes about the CFL and all that. But like the buzz about Trey Ford in Edmonton, it's pretty cool.
And
like
around
everyone, man. Like it's not just in Edmonton. It's sweet. Like my dad, he's talking about it, and it's pretty cool. So that's sweet.
It is interesting because I do a lot of this across the country, talking to different radio stations and. First thing is, what's Spirit of Edmonton doing? And then how about Trey Ford? That's the next question. It's so cool.
It's also good too in from Saskatchewan, Rough Rider Island. Don't hold it against me, but
no.
But once you move away, you go experience some other things. You become a fan of the league, and you want everybody to succeed. Once the whistle's blown, the football's kicked. It's game on. It's game on. But at the end of the day, and the Grey Cups too is a good illustration of that.
Yeah,
you want everybody to succeed. Maybe not too much. Some people, right, or some organizations, but. You want everybody to kind of be up there, right? You want everybody to be ticking at a good pace and kind of competitive in a sense.
Yeah.
You don't want the team you don't want the Elks like that they have been the last couple of years. You don't want the Red Blacks to be on their losing streak that they are. No. They're always going to have to there's going to have to be bad teams, obviously, just when there's going to be the bottom
in a 9-team league.
Yeah.
But you just hope that those teams aren't 1-2 win football teams.
Year after year.
That they could find a way that even the worst team in the league could have 4 or 5 wins, and it's we talk about parity that we want in the National Hockey League. How much the CFL is another one. You want some parity, and I know there's 9 teams, so maybe it's a little harder.
Nobody gets all the wins, but you want a little bit competitive ball.
You want week in and week out. You want to be competitive, as we said last. Like this year, we have seen competitive football. I think
every week,
it doesn't really matter who's been going up against. Like who saw Hamilton actually outright beating Winnipeg last week. I thought it was going to be a close game. I said it on the Turf District podcast. But who really would have thought?
Red Blacks, we all just didn't even talk about that game. That was
one, and how well the Red Blacks almost won it.
Exactly. Even going back to Grey Cup last year, who would have thought Toronto would take Winnipeg?
Great theater,
and that happened. I heard you guys this morning. I mean, Hamilton's all of a sudden got it going, and I had counted them out.
They get in the dance, you win too, and
that's all you got to do. Yeah.
So you go to that game against Ottawa.
Yes.
Have you found yourself watching a little more CFL since then?
Yeah. Like I haven't actually. Well, because I was bartending like the last little bit, so I definitely be watching when I could.
You put the games on at the bar.
Yeah. Like we have a pretty good watch party. Like some people would come out to watch the game. So, it's exciting. That's kind of what got me into UFC. Just seeing people's like reactions and like getting into it. I'm like, that's sweet. And like I said earlier, surround yourself with people that are like fans of the sport. Like you'll become a fan, right?
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm like. That's what I'm just loving this. Like, and but I got a question. So with Trey Ford, has he not? This isn't his first year, right? Like he's been for that.
This is year 2.
Yeah, but he was injured after
last year.
2 games. He got hurt last year. Broke his one or shoulder or something.
Yeah, because he started that game in Hamilton. Came here. There was a huge buzz in that game against Calgary.
Yeah.
Had that big play to Kyle Loxley.
Yeah.
And like the next play goes for that QB sneak or whatever, and breaks his collarbone and was done.
Yeah. So, but then he started because Elks they started a little slower this season. So
Cornelius was the guy they paid him or they're paying him a lot of money, and
he wasn't the starter.
Oh, he wasn't.
He wasn't even second
There
string.
were still some issues with the shoulder though too early in the year.
Okay,
You know.
and then he just kind of took the ball and ran with it. Literally. He's just he's just been crushing.
One
himself.
quarterback
Super
goes down
steady.
the CFL.
It
That's
changed
almost like
Well-
having 6 or 7 injured in the other league,
came-
right? Like that's your
Yeah.
everything's magnified. And
Well, think about just that Ricky Ray. You brought him up. He came in because Jason Moss got injured,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, okay, we found Ricky Ray as a
That's how
league.
it happens.
Oh my god! How did Bo Levi Mitchell get his start? Like Drew Tate, I think was the proclaimed starter of Calgary. They allowed Kevin Glenn to leave in the expansion draft. I think it was.
they always had a
or
bit of a
whatever.
graduation program.
And
the
there
next-
was like, okay, so Drew Tate's going to be the guy,
Yeah.
whoever was going to be. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it's Bo Levi Mitchell's team. Who's this Bo Levi Mitchell? And then we saw the best quarterback potentially of the decade type thing.
You mentioned Powell. I'm in Ottawa, I think, is a
Yeah.
gamer. That guy's
Yeah.
got it in
Yeah.
his blood. Like you can get behind him pretty easily, I think.
Terrell Walker, he only played his first game in Montreal for, at the time, the Eskimos, because right before the game, they had to scratch Darius Bowman due to injury. They activated Terrell Walker off practice roster. The guy caught like 11 balls for over 100 yards in his first CFL game. His career, the rest is history.
Zylstra was the same way.
Absolutely.
Came off the practice roster and was a superstar, and now
And that's why in the
Played in the
CFL,
NFL.
that procurement, you're watching bowl games at Christmas or something like those last months,
paying
and then
attention.
the PR, like
Yeah.
that's those neg lists. That's fun to watch because you're like, well, what could be? And
Yeah.
usually a lot of stories develop off those.
Well, last year during the training camp season of the Edmonton Elks, it was at a point where it's like, pay attention to these. There was releases all the time
Sure.
of names, and it said, pay attention to these because somebody's going to be big.
They get told to
And-
stay in town or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
There was I remember the Kevin Brown announcement because it was going into Labor Day, and the Elks needed a running game. James Wilder got hurt; they had nothing going, and it's like they need to do something. And they signed this guy, Kevin Brown, running back there. And it was like, okay, that's interesting. And I think most people would have seen Kevin Brown or whatever, thought it's whatever, delete. But you look back and go, okay, this is the guy 1,000 yards rusher now.
Yep.
That's what I love
He's a
about the
great
CFL.
back.
Yeah.
Great little back. Him and Mitchell coming in late. Right?
Yes.
Like,
Well, and Dylan Mitchell not having the year as well this year.
No, but
Kevin
he's-
Brown has.
it's
And
crowded field in that receiving core, but Brown is really
that's what
taking
makes
it
the
and
CFL
running
so fun is that you just never know who are going to be the big players.
Yeah.
It's not like hockey does have it to a degree. Like there are every so often that player that takes that big step up. But generally, I think we kind of know the players. Here, we don't know the quote unquote future prospects.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
I love
neat.
those neg lists.
Yeah, that's pretty.
yeah,
Like you
Yeah.
get some of those big names popping, and you're like, oh, maybe it might
maybe.
happen. Like who knows? Who's to say?
We're gonna have to get you into college football too,
Yeah, man. Like
because it is so much fun. You like you like the atmosphere and all that.
Yeah,
You would
there's,
love college football too.
What's your favorite
I was
color?
just talking-
that's a good way of doing it.
We'll
Well,
put
yeah,
it down here. Hey?
Is it burgundy?
no, it's actually green, but like, is there? I don't know.
Green.
Is there?
You go to Oregon.
Sparty, Michigan
Well, I was
State,
gonna
Oregon,
say
yeah.
Michigan State, Oregon.
Oregon? Okay.
Michigan, yeah.
Marshall, the Thundering Herd.
Yes.
Marshall would be
Yeah.
there. University of South Florida or whatever.
Yeah,
One.
USF.
Also,
Miami?
Yeah, Miami.
The U.
Miami's got you can be with me with the University
You guys
of
are
Miami.
out in the NFL, but you can be
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Hurricanes fan, Danny.
a convict.
Yeah,
We're
let's
gonna
go.
not so much these days,
What?
but
No.
we're undefeated. You just joined the undefeated team right now. We'll see what happens.
That's what I like to
Just
hear.
cheer for the Washington Huskies. No one
Oh,
likes the
boy.
Washington Huskies.
Oh, wait.
Yikes.
You watch college ball?
No, I don't have the time.
Okay.
I'm afraid to start because
you'll be
I'm-
hooked?
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
You want to know something? It's
Yeah.
very similar
It's
to the CFL.
intoxicating.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
It's more like the CFL is more like college football than the NFL.
Pomp, the
Yeah.
pageantry, the students, the band, the uniqueness
The
on each
intros.
Yeah,
campus, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And then the games and how exciting the games can be. And it's like I always really people love the World Juniors in hockey
Yeah.
because there's mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And mistakes could lead to the odd man rush
Yeah.
the other way with the
Yeah.
puck in their back.
Change
So
it.
mistakes are fun. And the CFL is like that. It's not a perfect game. So there's mistakes and it makes it more fun. College is even more mistake filled. And that interception that goes the other way or that blocked field goal. Like you want to watch blocked field goals? Watch college football games. There's a good chance you might see one once every
Trick
couple of weeks or
plays,
something.
weird
Trick
formations.
plays.
I mean, yeah.
Just it is a fun sport.
And an experimental
cool.
ground for coaching and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually graduate to the NFL and same with the CFL. Rules and stuff implemented in the big league
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they claim as their own eventually.
and bowl season is always fun. You can sit around.
Oh, that's the
and
every day is something.
what's the next sponsored bowl? You're laughing at the names of
Oh,
these
those
things
names
and
Gas for how
double
long?
5 names in a row.
What was the lawnmower bowl one? There was a lawnmower company that sponsored one once, and they had the two teams like do competitions and races in the lawnmowers and stuff right on mowers, and it was just awesome. What was those early games, like the New Year's Day and New Year's Eve? There's the big games, and that's like a couple days before. It's kind of when the big teams start playing. You get the bigger games. You lead into the playoffs, and you got like. The Holiday Bowl or things like that.
Give me Wake Forest and Yukon
first
week.
You get the famous Idaho Potato Bowl or whatever it is. You get the Bahamas Bowl with a bunch of nobody schools playing. Those are the games to watch.
I think early in the season too, UNC and Duke was the Mayo Bowl or something like that.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Is that what it was? And they dumped all the mayonnaise on it. Oh man, it's disgusting, but awesome.
That stuff that is just they play into it and they have fun with it. And look at the famous Potato Idaho Bowl, whatever it is. They get a bowl of potatoes after that they lift up.
Great. Why not? It's story of sport.
It's not serious.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not serious.
Yeah,
and that's what makes college football quite a bit of fun. Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev. One day we'll eventually say your name. Matt Wannick, Gerry Haracsi, Spirit of Edmonton with you here on the EST Hangout for those listening on EdmontonSportsTalk.com or watching on our YouTube channel. You want to talk a little Oilers?
Sure, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How are you guys? How are you feeling headed into this? Are you an Oilers fan?
Oh,
At the
huge.
team?
I've been
Okay,
an
just
Oilers
making
fan,
sure.
Again, all my life, I remember the way back before your time.
You've seen it all.
WHA and the Edmonton Gardens and
The Gardens.
the Calgary Cowboys when they were in the WHA, and I remember all that stuff. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Is this for the team?
Back when the Oilers started, Al Hamilton lived about 4 doors down from me. And we babysat for Al Hamilton. He was the original captain of the Edmonton Oilers back in 72, 3, 4, something like that. Yeah, so he used to pick me up
babysat
for Al
Steve.
Hamilton's kids. Yeah,
That's CFL. CFL-esque right there. Like
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Steve, Allison, and Aaron, the Hamilton kids, babysat them. But he would he'd pick me up at like 4:00 on a Sunday afternoon for a 7:00 game and take me down to the Coliseum when it opened, and I'd be just kind of hanging around and waiting for the game to start. I'd be sitting in his seats, and then I'd wait for him after the game, and he'd drive me back home, and my sister would be babysitting, and yeah, it was really cool. Like, so anyway, I've been obviously lifelong fan, and it's seen it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Do you prefer that old hockey, or you like the new fast-paced?
It's totally different. Like
it's a totally different game. Man.
I have all the VCR tapes of the Stanley Cup wins, and you watch that game, and I show it to my kids. And if I was to show it to you guys, you'd go, "Are you kidding me? This is how they used to play. How did Gretzky? How was he so successful?
Yeah.
When he had Semenko.
Yeah.
But no, I love today's game.
Yeah.
You
can love both in a different.
Even the technology of today's game. Give Gretzky one of those sticks, and see what he can do.
Been pretty cool.
But anyway, it's it's fun.
Well, that's the thing. Like people want to say Connor McDavid, like, and this is where it's tough to go greatest of all time, best of all time type of things, because it's like Gretzky was great in his time. How great would have he been also in this time if he had everything that McDavid had, which was the sports science behind it, the training behind it, like the video behind it,
BioSteel.
What could Wayne Gretzky have been in this era? Like Connor McDavid, you put him in the 80s, he would have still been great. Like he's that great of a player still. But I think as time moves on, people are going to slowly forget, or there's going to be people that won't have. Like I didn't see Wayne Gretzky really play. And there's going to be the time where you're going to get the people who won't really be able to appreciate Wayne Gretzky because we never saw him play, and there'll be that recency bias.
The generational
great players. I'm talking about they're great, but in the end, it's just like, wow, Wayne was special. Yeah, and we're seeing that with Connor for his era. Sure. But like I would have loved the idea of seeing what Wayne could have done. With everything that we have athletes these days is kind of wild to think.
See, in my mind, watching everything now with Connor and Leon and then watching, Gretzky and Curry play together, I missed Gordie Howe. I was at the end of Bobby Orr. So to me, Gretzky is the best ever.
Sure.
Yeah. And my kids and I will fight about this till the end because they didn't see Gretzky play. He was 160 pounds doing what he was doing, came in at 18 years old. I remember the newspaper clip, the Oilers traded for this 17-year-old Gretzky out of Indianapolis. I think they got him from with Peter Driscoll and Eddie Meal. He's coming off a plane and he's, got
City
the long
Center Airport.
I think City Center Airport. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, this is funny. Like, who is this guy? And then I watched him play, and right from a 17-year-old in the WHA, incredible. Things he could do.
Yeah, different routes to Edmonton between Gretzky and McDavid, totally on that front. I mean, you know what I mean?
So you've seen the good and the bad of this franchise. you haven't seen any good, basically.
Yeah, no, like, no, it sucks. Like, so that's why it's like so nice to like this last year, getting to know some of the regulars at work, just asking them what it was like, just like, and I'm taking it all in and it just excites me. I'm like, man, like, so I was big on the Oilers winning. I was like, my first year in Edmonton, they're going to win the cup. And, yeah, but even just seeing like, they only went to, the second round, but still like just going on Jasper after, or when they beat the Kings, like, I've never seen that many people in my entire life.
Does 06 mean anything
Yeah, I
to
was
you?
about to say, I don't think-
So as far as
I don't know
06,
the dates.
yeah,
but-
like,
Because how old are
it's funny, 24. So I would have been 8 then, and that was like, I remember my stepdad. So, all my family Flames fans, every single one of them. And so the first team I ever heard about was Calgary Flames, and that was when I was right about 6 in kindergarten. That's when they went on the run in 04 against the Lightning. And so all I heard about is the Flames, and so I'm like, kind of, I'm kind of a Flames fan. But then my stepdad coming in the picture, and he's a huge Oilers fan. And then 2 years later, the Oilers make their cup run, and then I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. But yeah, I didn't really become a fan till like 2010, and I couldn't have started at a worse time because I honestly don't think
But you're right. You start on the ground floor.
Yeah.
That winning just is much
It'll taste
sweeter when you
better.
get that.
Yes,
That's
because
good.
I stuck with it,
Yeah.
like there's times where I'm like, why am I even cheering for this team?
You're a
Like, what did I
supporter,
even
man.
do?
Yeah.
Like, so, but yeah, no, it's pretty sweet, and here's hoping there.
Well, okay, so on that, starting on the ground floor, getting to taste the victory. When was the Riders' first win you remember? Do you remember the 89 or whatever?
Yeah, I remember 89 because I was
How old would it have been?
5 or something.
So
It's a really weird memory.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay. It's one of those things where you remember being born. Like my very first memory is just about don't. I looked it up. It's some sort of condition or whatever. But I remember all these weird things. Like no, but I
Loose juice.
yeah. I remember really like finite details of what like random stuff.
Yeah.
And I do remember 89. We were in parents' basement there.
Okay, I remember getting
Right,
that story.
and it was the 80s, right? A lot of big hair and people were crying and hugging each other. Nothing specific, just that.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
so you weren't a fan. You weren't you don't remember.
No, I was not conscious,
your
but I
first
remember.
win
Yeah.
is 07 then, or whatever.
Yes. 89, my dad taped that Grey Cup, and I grew up watching that 89 on the tape over and over again. John Gregory with the little sweater, right? He's jumping up and down. And obviously the kick. I mean, that was one of the best Grey Cup games up until, recent. There's been a few more, but that was always a high one.
Still a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a great Grey Cup game. So that was always like drilled into your mind. But you're right, from 89 to
When you won.
07, I mean, that was a long time.
So you had that experience. Like Trev is potentially going to get.
Well, it's not thrown in the drunk tank. Like we partied, and that was
so it tasted like. But you experienced so much negative
seriously.
bad.
Like it is so good to kind of go through that struggle and spend the money, invest the time, do damage on the liver. The whole thing is worth it once you hit that hill and you get to the top.
I'm hoping so,
man.
It's gonna be pretty.
It's that one time.
Yeah.
Look at the CFL. There's 9 teams.
Yeah.
It's hard to win 2 in a row.
For sure. Yeah.
I witnessed 3 of the 4 Grey Cups.
Yeah.
Like that they've won. How lucky is that?
Yeah.
But it's
It's why I wanted Winnipeg never to win, by the way, because they had never won in my life.
Right.
And I love that story.
Yeah.
There's one team in my life, there's one team in a 9-team league that still has yet to be able to win a Grey Cup. And I was hoping that they would lose all those Grey Cups. And
you mentioned 9-team league. It's a wild story. How it kind of works.
Yeah.
To the point of, and that's why like Miss Elks fans and at the old station, I'm done with this. This is the time you don't get you support the damn team, man. You got to stand by them, and it's frustrating. It's grinding of the teeth, sleepless nights, all that. You call into the show, you're swearing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It just tastes so much sweeter.
But that was the nice thing about the bad time, like earlier this year, was people were still passionate.
Yes. And I said this so about the team too. They never lost like their mind, around all that.
Yeah. But they'd sell that place out now if everybody that said because of the name change they weren't winning. If they showed up at the game now because we're winning. That's the most.
And I'll say this too: if there wasn't a football team here and you just dropped that brand as an expansion team,
Elks,
strong brand.
Yeah.
Like I mean, let's be honest. Like take everything out of the rest. The logo's great. I think now 2 rutting season. Like fall games, there should just be a different animal. Like it should be bowl games every home game for the fall, and ruts, horns, all that. It's the horny thing on the air. It works both ways, right? Yeah.
Somebody on Twitter last week, the hashtag fear the deer. Said I love that. Fear the deer.
The option with that brand.
Elks Skull. think they might have that in like one of their logos. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Have you guys ever seen the picture of Strutty's
Yes.
antlers that he's worn?
Yeah.
Jason Strutty wore these massive antlers to a game. They like,
What's the poundage on those things?
I don't know, they seem pretty
75 pounds
heavy.
on his neck.
I think he was going to bring it out one time this year. I don't know if he has yet, but that's stuff you need.
For sure.
It's right. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Don't take it so seriously.
Sports is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
And I know, like, and this is even hockey, like, I know there's times where it's just you want to be the coach or GM while watching the game, but sometimes just enjoy watching sports because to a degree, it also doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not as we're fans because we love this sport and we're having fun, so let's just enjoy it and enjoy the ride.
And I think that's what the CFL is. And again, your NFL, NHL, you're always talking about money. And it's always money, money, money. And that money always goes up.
Yeah.
And if you're a family person or whoever you are in life, your money's usually not going up.
Yeah.
And how long is it before we see you have to go down and pay however it is to watch a guy making $1 billion in front of your face? It's a little unjustifiable.
Yeah, and you talk about in my life, the old Oilers and the new Oilers, and it bothers me that McDavid's making as much money. He's not even making that much money as a pro athlete.
He was paid,
But I was
almost
Gretzky
that.
signed his 99 till 1999, and he signed it for whatever it was, a total of $1 million for 15 years or whatever the number was, and you appreciated that more because you could relate to it. But I can't relate to $12 million.
Adjust to inflation, you're kind of And
the only time I relate to it is when I pay the $300 to go watch him play.
Sure, you told about $20 on a beer. The Hamilton story doesn't exist. Well, they live in a different world than you and I and whatever.
Yeah.
But I was for what now. Regular society, we're taking that out from a sports perspective. What he does for the team,
for the city,
both on and off the ice, money wise for the organization, everything. Connor McDavid is underpaid.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
He is given the metrics of everything.
$12.5 million for that player of the Edmonton Oilers is largely a steal.
Well, who would you rather have? Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid?
Yeah, McDavid.
There's no other player in the league you'd rather have. And then when you're an organization, the amount of money you're making off McDavid jerseys, the amount of money you're getting off of people wanting to go, like the ticket prices and all that, you can have them higher because you're saying Connor McDavid is here. Everything that you get as an organization, like LeBron is, I don't know, 40 mil or whatever. The quarterbacks are getting their money. Even out to a degree, and this is going to get people in. I think LeBron, even to a degree, is underpaid based on what he brings to the organizations and what everyone else makes off of him. McDavid is an underpaid.
I'm just saying those four leagues, there's such a separation. Yeah. And I've always said the CFL is the working person's league. You can reach out. There's no velvet rope. There's no multiple lanyards and access. Sure. These are guys you can, again, the Hamilton story you were talking about, that doesn't happen, and today you might maybe got a PTO or something like that.
But
these people live in different, worth it. You should get paid what you pay in your league, and NBA obviously is a little more, and NHL is a little more down there, but it's what I admire about the CFL, and I think it's one of those things that it just hasn't changed too much, maybe a little bit, but it hasn't really gone off that deep end where you kind of had that disconnect from the average person on the street.
When BC signed Riley to $750,000 or whatever it was, that's a lot of money in the CFL.
Sure,
and I know the Eskimos at the time had the money to pay him, but they also used that money to pay 5 other guys. And that's where they were. That was their train of thought.
Right. Juniors has got money to throw around, make a mistake, and then buy a guy out, and it seems a little out there. And it's fine. You have your teams. You like your teams. I mean, we all have an NFL team, NBA. You watch from afar, but it's always from afar type of thing. I
was listening to you guys yesterday morning. What's Ohtani going to make next year? Like he's going to make the whole.
Right?
Yeah,
2025. I think they shut him down.
Yeah.
I mean, that money's insane. Baseball.
Yeah. He's got the whole salary cap to CFL.
Galaxy.
And he'll make that in a year.
Tripled over.
He'll make more than team payrolls.
Yeah.
Only 30-40 million. He's going to be.
Yeah.
He'll probably be 50 plus next year.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Baseball is the craziest. Baseball is straight up the craziest when it comes to salaries.
Yeah.
And how long until we're given $1 billion contract?
When does it
I'd say within 15 years, like close to the end of that, we could see something close. Like, because what is the highest contract right now? Somebody's gotten $400 million.
I think. Puke.
Yeah.
Well, we've close to 400. I think we had eclipsed 400 million. I think maybe Mahomes.
But then
like Judge, I think might be. I don't know. I'd have to double check. But that's okay. So now, that keeps going up and up and up. So what day are we going to see the $1 billion 12-year deal being handed out? Most notably in baseball.
Yeah. Look at Oakland last week. I'm watching the game, and there's 4,700 people in the stands, and there's probably 2,000 of them were Canadians or Toronto fans.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it wasn't a bad night. But Oakland just hasn't.
What's the ownership has screwed up that relationship with the fans. So I sent you and JMO this DM. The owner of the Oakland Athletics is I think the owner of the San Jose Earthquakes of MLS.
Oh, yes.
He built a stadium 8 years ago for their soccer team. He's now trying to get the city to build him a new stadium because it's not good enough to make him revenue in MLS.
Made a mistake.
If it doesn't, he's going to go to Vegas, basically.
Yeah.
Hate those owners.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be handcuffed. I don't
go.
Right. And I just that whole a few years back when Cates went to Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That rubs me the wrong way.
Well, and that going back to CFL, that's just something to community ownership. That team, our team's not going anywhere as long as we're
disagree with the decisions made with the board, but you're right. Community, you're in control. You're somewhat in control.
And even if it goes private, then it's not going anywhere.
Look how long it took BC to get the right guy. They went through owner after owner after owner.
Not easy
to make it right, and they've turned it around. And
when Braley too, that was a bit of a.
How many teams did he own at one time? 2 or 3?
But you're kind of you're tightening the net.
He had 3 at one point.
Yeah,
I think it was upper.
He's usually 2, maybe 3.
He's been with Hamilton, I think, a little bit, but he had Toronto, obviously
Toronto,
BC. But I think there might have been a point where maybe 3 or something.
Yeah,
the caretaker, what's his face in Hamilton, right? The
caretaker, Bob,
stewards of the league in a sense.
Yeah.
Appreciate that work.
So just back to the Oilers. I don't hate going always to the negative part, but we all know how great this team is. Is there a concern you have for this team this year?
It's everything everybody said about team defense, and we hope Skinner has the same season and Campbell has a better season.
Well, to echo that, a few people text in every morning we talk about this. The only enemies themselves.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah,
they can hang with any team.
Yeah, any team. Yeah, I mean, the last 2 months of the year last year was incredible.
Right,
watching them go on that run.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
But at Christmas time, they weren't even in the playoffs.
Now with the December, they always do bad in December.
They beat themselves, man, and that's what Leon said, and is the ending interviews that he said. He's like, we could have beat. He felt like that. Vegas didn't really beat them. We kind of just we lost because of our bad decisions, and they just capitalized on it. So they just need to learn. It's tough because they should have it by now. They really should. But here's hoping this is the year.
Do any of you care
right the wrongs?
Division President's Trophy? Does that mean anything to you?
I'm hoping to just have a stress-free year.
That'll never happen, man.
Yeah, it's so.
Somebody's gonna piss you off.
I'm hey, this is gonna be the year. They're finally gonna just consistently just run with it through, right to the playoffs. But like you said, last year, they were outside of right around December, man. It was just so stressful and then with everyone, the city turns on them just like that.
If they slump around Christmas, are we gonna?
They'll get ripped again. Like they always do.
If they go in the tank, they will. But I mean, it's I went to the
they'll make it
the week before Christmas last year. Anaheim was in on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes,
how was that
one? Yeah, we went to that one. Yeah,
I was there.
They lost 5-2 or whatever it was, and I
electric.
never go to another game. And then I'm not mad because they lost. I'm mad because the way they lost. They were horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Do nothing going. You want a bit of an entertainment
and it's paying big bucks, and then you're paying $200 for beer, and
and
that's a bit gets me.
You leave there with an aggravated.
Attitude. I'll go to that specific game too. Is that because it's 2:00 on a Saturday? You probably had some people that planned a weekend trip from out of town to come down to have a night, and they dropped quite a bit of money, and that's the performance. And that's a risk you get when you're watching sports, and you go to sports, is that you never know how it's going to be. But when the team just doesn't give you that effort, it is frustrating. I look at this Oilers team. That to me is the thing I just want to see from them in the regular season. I've said I'm yada 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 the regular season. I just want to get to the playoffs, but just don't go through your December, early January slump. Just consistently be in a playoff spot all year so that in March and April, you're not panicking to try to clinch your playoff spot. You're not just trying to stay above that bubble. And in that time, you don't have to overuse Connor and Leon to get those wins to be up there. They're not going to be rested by not playing. But you can maybe throw the third, fourth line out there for a couple more shifts in a game.
You add it all up, it makes it dance over time.
And then come playoff time, you're just a little extra fresh to go. But last year, again, I think we can talk about Skinner being tired, but the team really had a push to get things going and played that great hockey. But how much does that negatively potentially impact them come playoff time? You know?
Can we laugh off a slump again, though?
No.
Really? Given the team, again, we're all talking, you just got to get played. They'll have a slump. Like, you'll have those days or nights.
Yeah. You'll have those days and nights, but you don't want to put them.
They're not going to win every game. Sure, yeah. You don't want to prolonged,
you're right,
drought.
though, Maddie. This team should never be out of the playoffs this year.
No, they should.
No, like
it's not that big
maybe
of a
like
drop.
because the season starts, weirdness happens, and you lose or you go 1-1-1 or something the first three, and then you're like that.
Yeah, that's 3 games.
That whatever. Like once we get to that 6 game
30
mark,
games in though.
But if they don't have a
right there, you're in the playoffs.
You're
nowhere close to that line. You're just in it. The rest of the way, it's like Toronto and Tampa. We knew all year last year they were going to meet because they were locked in second and third in their division.
Yeah.
That's what the Oilers should be this year.
Yeah.
We know that they're in the playoffs. It's just they're not. If they drop to the wild card, it's because it's one game. A team has a game in hand. They caught up, and then the Oilers jump back up or something.
Sure. That's why I don't think positioning, like home ice, is obviously a thing.
Yeah.
But if you want a little division banner or President's Trophy,
I think
matchups too. First from it, like if you can avoid some pairings and all that, teams match up better against you or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the AL wild card right now too, and like, why wouldn't you not want to face the Twins in one of those wild cards? Like, you don't want to finish too high, you don't want to finish out, but you kind of want to finish in that sweet spot.
I mean, finishing first in your division is important because if you get to Game 7,
sure,
you want that home team crowd for sure. But yeah, that's.
So as far as like the negatives or whatever, but like what are you guys like most looking forward to? Is there a player that you're
the third line?
Third line.
We know what line 1 and 2 are.
That's
line 3 is going to be good. And then who knows who makes the fourth line?
They're a fourth line, like Hills.
But if we roll out line 3 and 4 and let them score, whatever, to take the heat off. It's just the minutes that Connor and Leon don't need to be double shifted now on the fourth line.
Totally.
Yeah,
too early for trade deadline scenarios.
I think
coming back.
That'd be nice.
I think it's one of the things you do is you make a move based on where you are at that season, which might be if there's an injury.
Yeah.
If there's that hole, because that's what you have to go fill at the deadline. And you don't this year. I don't think there's
no one right now.
Last year was defense. Everyone knew the Oilers were trading for a defender from the start of that year until we got to trade deadline. That's the thing everyone knew was going to happen. This year, I don't think there is.
There's not a glaring deficiency,
and which is a great spot. And it's once you get to February, Ken Holland, Jeff Jackson, they can look at this team and go, "Okay, what's the thing we need to improve?" And if they're healthy, then it's okay. Where's the depth spots we want to improve?
Yeah.
But if there's that hole because of an injury that happens or players not playing, well, then you go, okay, that's what we need to go address.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great spot to be if you're the Edmonton
Absolutely.
Oilers.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, thinking you just mentioned his name, the best acquisition in a long time, other than winning the McDavid lottery, is Jeff Jackson coming in.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like he's
arguably a couple years late for some fans, but it's you're finally kind of going on that future track.
Because of McDavid's and his contract coming up in the next couple of years. But
I'll be back.
It's hiring a Parkati yesterday. Like I know the analytics crowd, they've been barking for years, and other teams have been doing it, much to the chagrin of them. And now finally, it's kind of opening the window there.
For sure, an analytics guy.
Yeah. I like the analytics. I'm big on. I'm
like only
super
analytics.
happy. Yeah.
Heavy straight.
Yeah. Well, I read.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Did you go for a spot on the sites for the analytics or?
No, I don't go.
No,
I'm sorry.
You're not going on spreadsheets.
Well, there's analytics. He's going to.
We don't know. He's been like he runs natural stats.
He's running the Panthers right now. Like he feeds them.
Michael Parkmatty's his puppet. YouTube Trev is really running everything that's going to happen with the Edmonton Oilers. He just wanted to work for Edmonton Sports Talk so bad, so he said Parkmatty in his place.
We'll have to use you to get some players or something.
It's pretty sweet.
I want to get into the chat, the text chat 780-218-9999. Back to the Elks. Question about Trey Ford. I noticed he's number 2. Is Gizmo's number not retired? Great show, fellas. In the CFL, one football mostly, but for the Elks especially, there's the wall of honor, but they're not retired.
Yeah.
If you start retiring jerseys with how big rosters are, you're going to eventually start running out of numbers to hand out. There are some NFL teams that do have numbers that have been retired. I think the Bears have a couple. The Giants have a few. My opponent in CFL Fantasy is just staring me down right there. So they do a few, but that's like if the Elks retired every single player that was up there, there's a lot of numbers then out of circulation.
Triple-digit jerseys you're looking at, maybe. Hey, 102 and
So
is it still numbers positional like in the
I don't know if the
certain-
CFL fully does that. The
Yeah,
NFL's
they're a little
loosened
more
that up a
loose
little
now,
bit.
yeah,
I think the
yeah.
CFL has always been way more loose.
Yeah.
But the NFL has loosened it up a bit. The only number I know that won't be given out, or actually it wasn't given out, I don't know now if it's still going to be the same case, was 1. When Dwayne Mandrusiak was with the team, he wouldn't let anyone wear 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Players would come and ask for it, and Jamie would tell the story, and Mandrusiak would be like, yeah, that's nice. Pick another number.
Yeah.
Like, would not allow anyone to wear
Yeah,
one
that's
mixed
nice,
number, which
yeah.
is so I guess maybe for the team there'll be some unofficial ones, but okay, if I was a player and I got honored like that, I'd want someone to wear my number.
Yeah.
You know, like you get the number of the rafters or your number's up, you're still there, your banner's still there. Love to see someone play in my number with a team.
It's a good
still.
story. You
sure.
can have a connection to the player. You can, and again, you have the significance of your number being wherever it needs to be. But yeah, you keep using it. Receivers should only wear in the 80s. That's my hot take. Only 80s numbers. Receivers, 80 to 89. Like,
Yeah.
Teens as well.
okay, full 80s guy.
Nice.
I don't know why. Just the aesthetic.
Offensive linemen got to be in the 60s.
You like it?
Yes, that's another one.
Offensive linemen.
There are a few
Yeah,
strict
okay.
rules that I like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kickers are always like, I feel like 11. Like maybe that's because of Sean Fleming.
It can be a wild
But those
game sometime. Yeah.
early teens is a kicker.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12 type thing, 13.
Yeah.
That to me is your kicker.
Yeah. Well, it's like the old goalies, 1 and 31, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
until
Anything
Dryden
under
came
is
in at
just
29, you go,
looking
"What the hell?"
weird. Yeah.
We do know you can't beat 98 with the Edmonton Oilers, though. That's just always remember that.
Yeah.
You could never be number 98.
You said
Yeah.
Always have, when we bring up numbers, we have to always bring that one up.
it's
'cause
hilarious. I
just
find it
such-
hilarious.
It's a weird one. I don't know. If you guys had what number would you guys wear?
I wore 20 in football. It's my birth date.
So
And I was a
would that be
DB.
your number?
I was a DB outside linebacker, and it fit perfectly.
If we did
Yeah.
Edmonton Sports Talk jerseys,
Give me a 20.
would you take a 20?
20. Sign me up.
Trev?
Yeah, when I first started watching the Oilers, I was playing soccer when I was young. I was always number 5, and then at the time, Laddie Schmid was number 5. So I've always just
Yeah, I'm
been,
5. My brother was 5, and watching him grow up, and I'm 5, and it's funny. My
cool number.
my daughter played volleyball last year, and she got uniform number 5.
It's
Yeah,
exclusive.
so yeah,
Is that
so it's
exclusive
kinda
story?
cool.
You got it? Now
Yeah, it was
next
totally, the volleyball thing was just, oh, cool, she got
I
it.
like number 5. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Uh,
What about for yourself?
I'm number 19. 19 was always my number.
Same bad.
I love Joe Sakic and Steve Yzerman. Those two were always two of my
Strong
favorite players.
yeah.
And then I'm also born in 1991, so it kind of works
Oh,
like
nice.
the
Works.
reverse and stuff.
Yeah.
So 1991, you could
Yeah,
It's always
that way. So
something.
19
Yeah.
has always been that number. Then the other number I did like, I have an Eskimos jersey with 23, because I loved Giz, I love Terry Vaughn, and I love Shannon Garrett. 2, 3,
Okay.
23.
Oh, you got
it
the old
worked out
combo
perfect.
stack.
It
Yeah.
was like
Cool.
this whole combination of 3 guys I loved for that organization. Terry Vaughn being number 1.
There's always a story behind the number, eh? It's not a
there
random.
is,
No,
yeah.
who's
There
picking a number
better-
at random,
there
right?
better
Oh,
be-
I'll
there
take
better be
whatever.
a
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no story.
You gotta rep
You have
that.
to have a story.
We're getting close to the end of the hangout. So, Gerry, Spirit of Edmonton tonight, west
yeah.
part of Commonwealth Stadium.
Parking lot A, center. You can't miss us. Look for the bandstand. Look for the
Who's the band tonight?
Tallboy. Actually, they're
Tallboy,
filling in. It was supposed to be somebody else that canceled, so Tallboy on emergency notice is coming in, which is perfect. Yeah, so we'll be there. Going back to the office for a couple hours, and then home to load up the car and fill the coolers.
We're
Yeah.
on the clock, hey?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's already on the
Man,
clock.
I'm
with a couple
excited.
of-
It's gonna be a great day.
You guys are all coming down tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna show him the ropes here and
Can't wait.
of everything that is involved with. We don't.
Yeah,
I don't know what you did
it's-
that first Elks game, but
It was
Did you
pretty
tailgate?
rough.
Did you re-up
No,
the
no,
No, you
no.
gotta come by. I mean, there's
showed
so
up
much
a
going
little
on
late.
tonight. Make sure you get the chili. Same room,
Oh, yes.
same room for
Absolutely.
sausage, and
Yeah, well,
And we'll see Gager at the end.
we're starting early, so it
we've
should
always
be
got
good.
the staff stash in the back of the car that nobody else knows about.
if people want details about Grey Cup 2023, if they're heading out, what can where can they find the info?
SpiritofEdmonton.com. Everything's there. Don't forget, October 15th, experience the spirit on the rocks. Going to give Edmontonians a chance to come experience a Grey Cup party.
October 15th?
October
Nice.
15th. It's a Sunday at On the Rocks. Tickets are online as well at spiritofedmonton.com, or I'll have some with me tonight at the football game. And $25 gets you a free burger, a free bowl of chili, and a lot of sluice juice. So
Sweet. And it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
It's serving. I love it.
And yeah, that includes spiritofedmonton.com, the VIP package, which would get you one of those flasks and everything else.
Into
that
the
you
room,
get
no lineup. It's a great thing.
That's the one.
That's key.
Well
You
worth
do
the
not,
money.
and like this
And
is
it's every
a
night,
legit
Thursday,
thing.
Friday, Saturday night, into the room, plus a free drink.
There
as
are
well, so
lines.
there'll
Like, I
definitely be
just
a
want
line.
to put that out there. This isn't like
If you don't want to be
whatever.
waiting.
It's a
Yeah.
CFL party, whatever. How long could it be? No. There are lines to this, especially the Spirit of Edmonton. So that is a clutch ticket pack. If you are going to the Grey Cup, get on that because there's only how many left?
Nine of the
left.
VIPs.
So get on that right now if you are planning to go because you will want to skip those lines. That in itself pays for itself.
We were doing it in 2018 here. I think,
Well,
right?
the CFL Media Pass
that was good.
does get you through.
The lines were down
And
the thing, and
we also got
to sit up to the front.
Yeah. It was very nice. Well, Gerry, I appreciate you stopping by.
No, thanks for having
later
me.
tonight. Maybe we can have you on some other time.
I'd love to come on and whatever. Like we're
talk
like I say, I'm in
sports.
Vancouver next week talking or planning Vancouver 2024. So we'll have some more information in the next 2 or 3 months on ticket sales and everything for Vancouver already, and then Winnipeg in 2025.
That's nice.
Thanks
never
for
ends.
everything you do.
Yeah.
You are a king.
That you guys keep this going and you're in charge of it. It's the city, the league needs it. So thank you for having this continue and keep making it better than it already is. And I don't know how you could keep making it better, but somehow you guys always find a way to make it better, and it's incredible.
We have a good crew. I'm lucky to be the face of this Spirit, but it's the crew behind us and my wife who allows me to do all this because I take 10 vacation days a year for Spirit of Edmonton stuff. You know, so
not a lot left over there at the end.
So, no. So and like even this morning, you know, I called boss I report to and said, hey, I'm taking a personal morning. I got some sports talk radio to do. So, yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all you do for the Spirit of Edmonton and for the city. And I'm so happy you're back on the air.
Appreciate it. Coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, it is the Lock Shop, Dusty and Huss, getting you set for week 3 in the National Football League. They'll probably talk a little CFL as well. They did all their bets yesterday for this weekend too. So if you missed that, head to edmontonsportstock.com for the podcast of those. Coming up at noon, Tom Gazzola maybe will be here with the oil stream. But if not, Dustin for sure will have the oil stream for you. Noon. It's Friday. The oil stream. That's coming up noon right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Thanks for tuning into the Hangout. Coming up Monday, Trey Ford, Gavin Cobb of the Edmonton Elks. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Elks game. Lock Shop coming up next. Oh, we'll get there.
We're good.
The Nielsen Show.
You know, on airplanes, WestJet lately, in the little snack box they give you, a